Cheyenne,
Hey Trent.
welcome to the show and thank you so much for doing it.
Anything for you, Trent.
How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm still trying to catch up on my rest. Child, anytime after a pageant, bitch, you need about 48 hours to
You
pull it back together. So
got to. People
I'm
don't realize what it goes into that.
especially when you running around and picking up stuff and running to take care of stuff. So yeah, I'm finally like woo-sign again, but I'm
Mm.
good. Thank you for having me though.
Thank you for being on it, and your contestants did amazing this weekend. So
Thank you
kudos
so
to you
much.
because I know that your leadership when it comes to the winner circle is very strict, strategic, and you just know the formula. I always told people about you. I said, any pageant Cheyenne wants to do, she can win because you got a formula. You have what most people don't have. That's intellect and talent in the same pageant, right? Clothes, anybody can go out and get a JD Martin. Anybody can go get this. Anybody can go get this. But so many times the girls are missing intellect and talent. And you have that at every pageant. So I always say whatever you enter, you would win. And I always knew you would be a Miss Continental. Plus, I always knew that probably can go and win a small one if you wanted to. But um, we go way back.
We do.
We go back. When did we meet?
Oh,
Through Antonio King, though, right?
before Cheyenne even was
A create.
created, you knew Craig before Cheyenne. You was a part of the Cheyenne process. Um, oh my God. What's this, 25? Oh, it's been a long time, Trent. Well, okay, so my first time doing a pageant drag was 2010. So maybe it was right when I first started
Okay.
that we kind
Okay.
of met. It's been about almost 20 years, probably. It's been a long time because you
Wow.
you were part of and helped the evolution of Craig and Cheyenne. More Craig on the outside, but
Yeah, you were so funny too. You remember? I won't say who name you said. You remember that time we was at this club one time and there was an entertainer there. You said, "Ooh, child, we got to see a year of this." And remember Antonio got really, really angry. I won't call no name though. That's between me and you. But that shit was so goddamn funny.
I
But
mean, I had an issue. Like all of us, we all go through our phases. I had an issue sometimes, as my mother used to say, that tongue of yours is like a shotgun, honey. What comes up comes out.
I'm telling
And I had to learn through the years that every action doesn't deserve a reaction. That's
you.
something you taught me for a long
Yeah.
time. And sometimes when you're a certain way, you have to own up to who you are, honey, and be that person and live with it and make your changes as you go and become a better person, but own who you are as you are doing that. And I had to do that. And it helped me become a better person. And going to counseling during COVID
Okay.
really took me to a different level and made me realize different ways that I was treating people or talking to people. Or as you used to tell me, when you're an intelligent person and you're direct, it comes across sometimes as you're talking at a person or down to a person or condescending.
Condescending.
So I really had to, as my aunt used to say, if more than three people tell you that you're a horse, you better get your ass a saddle. And and when more than three people was telling me the same thing about myself, at some point I had to go look in the mirror and say, now wait a minute, bitch, everybody not saying the same thing for, you know. So
Mhm.
it was a growing process, and I'm just thankful to God that I'm in a different place in life and a much better person, human being all the way around.
Yeah. And you seem happier.
I am.
You seem so much like when I saw you this weekend and you look good, bitch. I
Thank you.
said, "Oh, okay, bitch. Okay, waistline." I was like, "Okay, you
Look,
look
wait a minute,
good."
Trent. First time I had on a size 34 pants. I haven't worn 34 in 34 years, bitch. So
Listen, bitch, I'm jealous too because I haven't worn a 34 since I was in the 8th grade. I'm so jealous. I want to get in a 36 so fucking
But you
bad.
look so good though, your
Yeah,
size. You
but I
look
gotta
good.
unbig this back some kind of way. I don't know if I'm gonna take me some shots. I don't know if I'm gonna have to start. The girls who used to do powder to lose weight, they say that's
Look,
not working no
baby,
more.
look.
So I ain't gonna
I'm
do
gonna be the theme song. Manjaro.
it. Yes, you better sing. And speaking of singing, you are the voice behind a lot of people's talent that wants personalized talents. How did you get into singing? When did you realize you could sing?
Oh, child. Oh, probably at about the age of 5. So funny thing. I don't know about a lot of other cities and states, but we have our schools are in districts. So
Okay.
I went to school district 89, and we used to have a guy who was a teacher in one of the school districts. He owned a music shop, a record shop
Mhm.
right down the street from my house, Mr. Mobley. And I used to go to that record shop because I've always loved music, and Whitney Houston has always been my favorite singer.
Oh my God.
And so I used to go in there, and he would be playing music, and you could hear it outside. And he was playing "The Greatest Love of All" one time, and I was sang the song, and he was like mesmerized, and he was like, "Hey, you ever thought about going on a TV show, Star Search?"
Mm.
And I was like, "No," and I knew what Star Search was, and I was like, "No." He was like, "Well, I know someone that works on the show, and I can get you an audition for the show." And a lot of people don't know I was went to the TV show Star Search before.
Wow.
And he was like, I was 9, I believe. So I was like a local celebrity since I was a kid in my neighborhood. So I've always been very popular.
Okay.
And he was like, I can get you an audition to Star Search. And so before I did that audition to get me, I've always been around people that were strategic and training you, and were they not necessarily hard on you, but they
Mhm.
were firm but fair, and they wanted to get you to the finish line. So before the audition, he had me go around to all the 8th grade graduations in school district 89 and sing "The Greatest Love of All."
Wow.
That was my practice of getting me comfortable on a stage, getting me comfortable to different reactions from people. And back then, they didn't have an instrumental. So I would have to sing along with Whitney's voice. And back then, I could mimic her. That was before any smoking or anything. I
Uh-huh.
could mimic every note that she would hit back then.
So you was a soprano.
Yeah, back then, yeah, I could sing.
Mhm.
I could hit a Mariah A flat like it was nothing back
Oh,
then.
wow.
And so after him taking me around singing at all the graduations, later on came the auditions for Star Search. So I went and auditioned for Star Search. I made it through the first 3 rounds. And the last round, I got beat by a group that was singing New Edition.
Mm.
And it was funny thing, it was 4 white guys actually. That was funny, but they were doing some song by New Edition or somebody. I can't remember exactly. So I didn't make it on the show. So at that point, I knew that I was one day going to be a celebrity. And then came the TV show Solid Gold.
Mm.
Solid Gold was my favorite TV show because a lot of people know I always wanted to be a trained dancer.
Oh.
I can move. I always wanted to be a dancer, but I could sing but couldn't really dance. So I would run around the house like a little sissy, "Solid Gold," singing the song and jumping off my mama couch and thinking I was doing the
Yeah.
routines and stuff. Bitch, I thought I was a solid gold dancer for a long
Yes.
time. And singing the song Solid Gold, and that's what started getting me into wanting to become a Broadway star.
Okay.
So my dream was actually always to start on Broadway, to be a Broadway star.
Okay.
And drag came along later on, and drag
What's
ended
the
up
first
becoming
Broadway show you ever saw so that made you wanna do it?
The Wiz with Stephanie Mills. It was here
Okay.
at the Schubert Theater in Chicago, Illinois in 19, I was it 89 or 88? 89 or 88. I was like
Uh-huh.
9 or 10.
So you
And
went? You got to go
when I
see
went,
it?
it was here in Chicago at the Schubert Theater.
Okay.
And oh my God, like I'm lighting up now to see people singing and acting live
Yeah.
on stage. I knew I was meant to be there because I always loved being an entertainer. That's always been in my blood since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I always said if I never made it to Broadway by 35, I would just do something else in life. I always wanted to be an attorney or a doctor.
Okay.
But yeah, so I didn't make
So
it to Broadway.
but you did make it to the stage. How did Cheyenne Valentino come about?
Oh, child.
Who was
She
the
always
inspirations? Who was the girls that you seen first?
mm, my first time going to a gay club. Okay. Really telling my age.
Mhm.
First time ever going to a gay club, I was actually 11 years old.
Oh, wow. Who the hell
My
let you in the club at
my
11?
mother always worked nights, and
Uh-huh.
my brother was in high school, so he would be in his room with the door closed, not paying any attention. So I would sneak out with my friend Finesse and all of us. We would sneak out at night when everybody was
Shout out to
asleep,
Finesse. Okay.
and we would go to this club called Mayhome Cafe. And I was a slender little cute ass little young gay boy, and Finesse was back then. So they would let us in for an extra $2 with no ID.
Oh.
I would see Nikki Green, Taji Iman, Sasha Valentino, Friday Foster, Christian Valentino, Flame Monroe, Tierra Valentino. I would see all these girls. Naomi Campbell. We had a Miss Jeff. Her name was Naomi Campbell.
Mhm.
Um, Erotica. We had some. Chicago had sickening, beautiful girls back
Oh,
then.
yes, they do, to this day.
Like really, Amelia. I forgot. I
Oh,
can't forget Amelia Black.
of course.
So I grew up a youngin under all of these girls,
Okay.
and of course,
Was
I didn't know
Victoria
anything
Page,
about Continental,
was
huh?
Victoria Page, like, performing back then too?
She was, but Victoria really wasn't on that scene of performing.
Okay.
Victoria was more going, she was more of heading towards being and becoming a baton girl, more on the showgirl side of versus the club showgirl side.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but she was still intertwined. They had their own little dance crew called the Keep It Coming Girls with Victoria, Friday Foster, and there was somebody else was involved. It was like 3 or 4 of them that had their own little crew of dance crew because Victoria actually can dance. She's a technically trained dancer. So,
Mhm.
but oh, Cheyenne, I forgot that part. So Cheyenne, child, shit, because Trent, you know me and your ass can talk.
Yeah, we
So,
can.
Cheyenne, child, came about. I did turnabout in Chicago, and my girlfriend Monique Green taught me how to do my makeup, and she painted me for the show. And this guy named Keith Robinson came to me, and he was like, "You do drag like the old school girls, and even though this was your first time, this is going to take you really far one day. You watch what I tell you." And I was like, "Okay, so that's kind of. Oh, wait a minute. Well, let me back up a little bit.
Let's
Let
go
me say,
back.
that was when doing a show Cheyenne was first created. I actually created Cheyenne when I was 18 years old. I kind of got introduced into working roots, writing bad checks and shit. We all got a
Oh.
story.
Oh,
And
you's a part of
I was down
okay.
in Mrs. Yeah, I'm telling a lot of my tea, honey.
Tell it,
That
child. It's
people
over
see
now.
because people think I'm so whitewashed and I'm so perfect, and they don't know, bitch. You know that side of me.
Uh-huh.
Everybody always be like, "Oh, girl," they don't know, honey, that I can get real ratchet with it.
Okay.
So, but I'm still professional,
Yeah.
but bitch, I learned about writing checks, and I was down in Mississippi at Club City Lights. First time ever there. I was 18, and they was like, "Bitch, it's a Black Universe prelim in Chicago." And I was like, "What's that?" They was like, "It's a pageant, a prelim to Black Universe." And I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that," because I was writing checks, bitch. I was getting all kind of shit. So I didn't give a fuck about spending no money back then. So I
Mhm.
was like, bitch, I want to go do that pageant. And this guy named Ferris Miles, my Uncle Ferris. I don't know if you know
Shout out
Ferris or
I do
not.
know Ferris. Shout out to
Okay.
Ferris.
Ferris and Tony Harper, who is actually um from Atlanta Housewives personal assistant now, Drew
Okay.
Fedora's personal assistant.
Okay.
So I've been knowing them for years. So Tony Harper, they used to own a prelim to Universe. And I was 18 years old, child, and I did a Universe prelim, and Victoria LePage won. Raquel and Monty were the reigning king and queen then.
Okay.
And bitch, I'll never forget, my mother found out I did the pageant because of my auntie snitched on me because I was sneaking doing drag. And my mother told Jim Flint she was going to call the police and report that he had minors. And
She helped him set the age limit for that damn club and that pageant. You hear me?
and he still didn't said it.
No. um, wow. So that was your first pageant, the Black Universe prelim?
Emerald, I want to say it was called Emerald City Black Universe
So
or
who
Chicago.
helped you get ready? Who helped you like put together a package? Because this is new for you.
So it was new for me. So the funny thing is I never had, so let me back up. I met Christian and all them, Christian, Valentino, Tierra Russell. She was Tierra Valentino, Essence Ferrari. Essence Ferrari actually taught me how to walk in heels in her kitchen.
Okay.
And they kind of
Y'all look
trained
alike
me,
too. Y'all look alike.
and people say that. They kind of trained me about pageantry without knowing they were training me about pageantry because I was a young gay boy hanging around the trans girls back then.
Mhm.
And they didn't realize they were training me. So what ended up happening was I was at home. I was a spoiled kid. I was 16. And two of my friends came over and was like, bitch, it's this drag pageant downtown. So me being a spoiled kid, I just lied and told my mother I was going to a play because she knew I love plays and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. Excuse me. So I told her I was going to a play with my friend Tony Cunt and the twins, DeWitt and Dwight.
Uh-huh.
And so she was like, okay, well, I'm not home. Go and get $50 from Andy. Andy, we own the building, and Andy was my mother and father's best friend that lived in the upstairs apartment. So
Okay.
Andy had gave me $50 to go to the play. And we went downtown. It was 1996. And bitch, we walked into the Bismarck Hotel, and the first two people I saw was Flame Monroe and Michelle Mitchell. And bitch, I was like, oh my God. Because I didn't know that that type of stuff existed
Right. It's a
right
whole
up
new
under my
world.
nose.
Yeah.
I had only seen it on like the Phil Donahue show, Sally Jesse, Geraldo, the old talk shows.
Mhm.
So I didn't know that drag pageants was right there. Continental had been there all that time
Oh,
up under my nose. So I walked in prelim night and bitch, I was in awe. And I told my friend, and mind you, I never wanted to be a drag queen child,
mhm.
but I told my friend, I said, bitch, I'm gonna win this one day. Watch.
And you
And
meant
he
this
was like,
thing.
bitch, you crazy. I said, and I get emotional because I don't think people know the emotional ties I have with that pageant and Jim
Yeah.
Flint. And this weekend just was a lot on me. So I'll get to that later, but
Yeah.
it just shows how much love I have for the pageant
For
system
the pageant.
itself.
So then you fast
Um,
forward, you do the pageant.
yeah,
You
like
end up what year was that?
1996, and I never missed a night since that night. Never. I was
Wow.
15, I was 16 years old, and I saw Sasha Valentino, Amelia Black, Tasha Long,
Mhm.
Paris France, Basha,
Yeah.
uh, Danielle Hunter, Yasmin Campbell Starr, Flame Monroe, all those girls were competing back then. Uh Tommy Ross competed that year. Paris France, bitch, when I say the pageant was, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so the next night was coming, and they was like, girl, it's a night two. And I asked my mother, I was like, oh, can I go to the play again? It was good. So she gave me the money. And back then, that's when Continental was only $50 a night. So she gave me another $50 to go to the next night. And honey, that night was everything. That's when Basha did New York, New York.
Uh-huh.
Tommy Ross
Tommy.
had the live animals on the
Uh-huh.
live zoo animals on stage. And bitch, you know Solid Gold was my shit. And here come Tasha
I
Long
think Tasha Long.
looking like Dionne Warwick doing Solid Gold. Bitch, I
Mind
at that
blowing.
point, I felt like, here I go getting emotional again. Ugh.
Yeah.
I felt like something had, I don't know what it was. It was just so much like connecting at that
Uh-huh.
time.
You have found your space to be in. You have found your safe space. You have found your theater. You have found the things that you can aspire to do that was right in reach for you. Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I guess that's why I get so emotional because
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of times pageant owners realize the impact
Yes.
they've had on our lives to not respect us in a certain way, to know like y'all literally have helped people change lives, and
Yeah.
people come here to support you and show loyalty to you and love to you, and it's like you don't care.
You don't care.
And
Or if you do care, you have a shitty way of showing that you care. You know what I'm saying? Like
very,
and now you're one of his stockholders, so you want to make the stockholders happy. You want to make sure that they have what they need to keep producing for your company every year, so some people can have work, and so that the system can always grow and mature. But this past weekend, you had the pleasure of let me find her picture. You had the pleasure of helping this young lady because she went under Supreme Continental, Miss Serenity Lopez Lord. And let me tell you, just from me to you, I can tell when you work with somebody because I can tell how Tasha package was. I can tell when you work with somebody because of the amount of detail that went into her package. I'm sure she had influence from other people as well, but
of course.
you know, like I said earlier, you know the formula to pageants. And from the minute she stepped out in gown, the crowd went crazy. And I know that feeling for you. Can you even describe that feeling when she first walked out for gown?
Which one, her or
Um,
Serenity?
Serenity, when she first walked out for gown first night.
I I honestly felt like a proud
Mhm.
I go hard for my people. And
It shows.
Serenity was, my heart hurts for her because she worked hard. She listened. That girl flew, and nothing, and I take everybody else did the same thing preparing. So I'm not saying not taking nothing from anybody.
Right.
But she was a dream to work with. It was her first time, and I knew what we were coming up against. And one thing, I'm always honest with my people. I was
Mhm.
honest with Michael, who we were up against. It
Yeah.
was obvious, exotic. I was honest with Serenity going in. Godfrey is the is that girl, but we're gonna make it hard
Yeah.
for it to happen. And we're
Mhm.
going to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, every hair is in place. I went to every JD appointment with her, every rehearsal with her. You know, I just wanted her to have a phenomenal experience. And when she walked out for gown first night, I just I just broke down because I was just so proud of her, and she looked
Oh,
absolutely breathtaking. And she
stunning. You
looked
hear
like a
me?
new person.
And she had a new attitude too. It was a new
It was a
it was
new
this air.
Serenity.
She had this air about herself, and it was just so gorgeous to watch. I was like, yes. I only seen her compete a few times, but I've never seen her compete with the type of confidence she had that night.
She worked hard. Like, baby, when I tell you my girlfriend worked hard, and we have developed, that's like become one of my besties now.
Okay.
I think pageants tear a lot of us apart. They do. But also pageants do bring a lot of great relationships together as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm grateful about everybody I've worked with. Tasha is like my best Judy now, honey. I'm
Yeah.
ride or die for that crazy bitch.
I love
Uh,
her. She be so done.
Serenity, Michael, we talk all the time. I was involved with his stuff. Being a contestant going into a promoter, I know what it takes to compete in a pageant. I know the financial struggles. I know the
Mhm.
mental struggles, the emotional struggles. And I just wanted to be the type of promoter that I've always wanted. And I know what people need. Yeah, I spend a lot of money, but my relationship goes deeper than money with my people because I'm involved with them. I get them involved in interview and question and answer coaching.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
this, no, where this, let's do this for, maybe try this way. And one thing I love about them, they're open to suggestions, but I always tell them, do what works for you,
Okay.
but maybe try this. And they were just so easy to work with, bouncing off ideas with each other. And Serenity, sometimes we would bump heads, honey,
Okay.
because she's strong and I'm strong. And I'd be like, and I crack her ass up. I'm like, you know what, girl, I'm just staying in my lane because y'all know about y'all clothes, bitch. But I ain't staying in I'm working with you with this talent stuff. so
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she would just fall out laughing, like, okay, promoter. You know how they talk
Oh,
from
I love
Nola.
New Orleans accent. Yes, Lord. I love it.
She
Promoter.
is she was breathtaking. And I like winners. And I knew when I chose her, she could go in there and make an impact.
She could. And if I'm correct, she was the only black girl in the top 5. I mean, the top 12, right?
She was the only black girl. It was brown girls in there, but she was
Yeah.
the only
Black.
black American contestant. Yes.
And we thought by the end of the night, what she had presented, that she would be the only black girl in the top 5 too.
I think a lot of people in the building,
Yes. Yes.
and from
I
what I
felt
see
it.
on social media,
Social media went
um,
crazy. They were like, "Oh, hell no. Oh, what are we doing?" And if you're gonna do that, and okay, we know these pageants, right? We know they got to put certain people in for semantics. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But if you're gonna do that, make it a top 6.
and that was my thing. I told people, baby, Godfrey was sickening.
Yes, she was.
That bitch
Yes, she was.
talent was
Effortless.
ugh nasty,
Effortless. And
nasty.
you know what? She had this air about her all weekend too. Like it was a celebration. Like, I'm just coming to get my things, y'all. That's it.
And
And
she
she
was.
And she
And she
was, and
was.
she walked in that thing, and she really, really walked in that thing, and we knew that she was the girl to beat. But also, there's still other victories that can happen in the pageant outside of winning it, and that victory would be this young lady coming and getting her all, and the reward would have been top 5 first year. We good with top 5 first year. You know what I'm saying? Give me that mic. Let
Absolutely.
me let me say a few things, and I know I may not win it this year, but y'all see me, you know. And for people like you who promoters who, like you said, spend so much time with her, on the phone with her, flying back and forth to places, you are heavily invested in the outcome of these pageants. And people don't understand that, I'm one who used to go off a lot too about pageants. And people don't understand the emotional ties that come with that. Oh, it's just a pageant. No, it's not just a pageant. It's a livelihood for somebody. We spending real money. It's not fake. It's not monopoly money. This is real money. This is
Hmm.
real sacrifice. So we're gonna get in our feelings sometimes, and rightfully so, because it's blatant that this young lady should have made the top 5. So, and then you made a post. Can you read that? Because I want to hear it in your words.
Sometimes you have to bow out gracefully, and I choose to bow out gracefully completely now. Supreme Continental will not be happening going forward, nor will I be sending an elite representative under Supreme next year. That's why it's hard to keep and find great promoters now. Thank you for all the love, but yeah, I'm good. And I'm not a sore loser. I can take a loss when it's a real loss, but this tonight was absolutely unacceptable. And don't get it twisted. The winner won, but don't take other people's spots away.
Mm. So they gotta let that marinate. Don't take other people's spots away. So even me reading this, I'm a person who doesn't just look at surface. I said this got to be deeper than a top 5 placement, because we realize Cheyenne just her contestant won plus, right?
Hmm.
You won what, preliminary of the year. You
Hmm.
got your Oscar for that, your Jimmy for that. But it has to be something deeper than it. It's about respect. You have to
Correct.
make people respect you because you spend the money on this. You spend the time. Like I said, the sacrifices and all of that, all of these things. We want the recognition because that's why we come to the pageant. What were you feeling in that moment when you posted that? Right before you posted that, because I'm sure you had to think about it first. What was going on in your head in the moment?
I was like, post it, don't post it, post it, don't post it. I kept going back and forth. And then something just said, if I'm being real, something said, fuck it, post it.
Uh-huh.
Because I just was fed up. I thought about all the disrespect. A lot of people don't know. Look, let me tell you something. Yourself. I ain't never been perfect. I was a hothead back in the day. I read the shit out of you in a minute
You will read
with
the
due
girl.
cause, but now I don't even let people get me to those places ever anymore when it comes
Yeah.
to stuff. I'm just in a different place in life, a more peaceful place in life. And I just want to
Mhm.
love on folks because folks leaving up out of here left and right. And I just really don't have time for the shenanigans anymore. And a lot of people don't know I'm gonna back up. I've been on Jim Flynn since I was 16 years old. So my
Wow.
emotional attachment to him is a lot different than just a contestant making the top five.
Right.
I've never, and you can go back years, I've never publicly disrespected him.
Mhm.
I've never disrespected the system. When I won Miss Continental Plus, I had 7 prelims when I came in. When I left, there were 19,
You sold 12 preliminaries?
13, and 4. And, and
You did what?
4,
No, no, no. Pop your shit again. You sold how many?
it was 7 when Kiki crowned me. And when I left, there were 19. I had 36 contestants to qualify.
Wow.
27 or 26 showed up.
Okay.
I and Jim Flint went publicly and said I'm sure you remember that, one of the best queens he's
Mhm.
ever had and one of the best years he's ever had. And the promoters absolutely loved me. I
Okay.
had promoters that loved me so much, they would just send me their credit card information to book my own flights and rooms.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
much they trusted me because I took the reign, and made it mine because
Mhm.
I would have promoters reach out to the office and the office would say they didn't get the emails. A lot of people look at the glamour on the outside, but they
Uh-huh.
don't understand the unprofessionalism on the behind the scenes
Okay.
part. And you're waiting for them to get back to promoters. I would have had about 22 or 24 prelims. And see,
Yeah.
I didn't just work for Plus. That was prelims I got for Mr., Miss, and Elite as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
I didn't just work for Plus. Stasha, Lorna, and Sir were getting prelims booked because of me as well. So I thought about everybody because we were a team. That's how I looked at it. But, sometimes what you do goes in vain. You try so hard and it's not that you look for an approval, but you look for a certain respect and a certain appreciation for what you do. you know, a thank you. Thank you for being a great promoter. Like you tell all your other constituents those things. You give the same best prelims to the same people, and then allegedly the queens pick the prelims, but that's a whole nother story.
True.
It's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you deal with because it's your house and you keep things in house.
Mhm.
And when you're disrespected, that man will walk past me, don't speak to me. I'll reach out to Jim, ask him how he's doing, checking on his health. He reads the messages, pays me dust, ignores them. That
Mm.
man last year at registration at Plus, he announced every promoter except for me. And I said, don't forget Supreme. And I checked him in front of everybody. I
As you
said, make
should.
that your last time doing that because I spent too much money and worked too hard for you not to acknowledge me.
Yes.
I said, you acknowledge me when you call the formers and you acknowledge me when you call the promoters.
Promoters.
He
Uh-huh.
said, well, I'm only calling you one time. You run Supreme, I run Continental. I said, no, sweetie, I run both of them. And everybody, the formers just started busting up laughing. No, you're not. They're rude. They're
Yeah.
not contestant friendly.
They're
They
not
talk
consistent
to you
feeling.
like shit. They're
Yes.
yelling and screaming at you like you're a fucking kid.
Yes.
And they don't know a lot of the people that work behind the scenes can't stand their asses, but they're like Donald Trump's minions. They're scared to speak up and say something.
That's
But yet
it.
they talk about it behind the scenes. And I'm not a snitch, so I'm not
No,
gonna
you
tell who
speaking the
tell on
word.
them.
You
But
speaking now.
they don't like the rudeness that's going on. They're rude as hell. They
Yeah.
talk to patrons like shit who's spending $85 to sit in some cramped up hot ass seats. But yet you're talking to people like shit, and people gonna say, of course, well, girl, you've been knowing they've been doing that for years. Yes. I
Mhm.
love the United States, but I don't have to love the fucking president.
That's it. That's 100%.
I
100%.
love the system. Love the to bitch. It's no stage like walking on Continental stage to
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
No stage, but the shit that you have to deal with behind the scenes, it just gets to a point where I'm trying to be a black promoter that does for contestants what other promoters might not do. There was a guy many years ago named Wayne Estes that used to sponsor Sasha Valentino and Amelia them down, spent millions on the girls.
Oh, wow.
Jim Flint never showed Wayne any respect. Wayne stayed around for years. He finally left. Then comes an amazing guy, my father, Antonio King,
Uh-huh.
does
Shout
the
out to
same thing.
Antonio.
Phenomenal promoter.
Yes.
He respects Antonio, but
Yeah.
I still don't think he respects Antonio the way Antonio should be respected.
Antonio should be high up on the totem pole when it comes to
Absolutely.
Continental.
Absolutely.
That man exudes Continental. He know what it takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then and what made me say this is Christian Valentino called me today.
Okay.
And she said, bitch, let me tell
I
you
love
something. There was Wayne Estes, Antonio King, and now Chy'Enne Valentino. I see what you're doing. You're trying to be a great black promoter to help these girls because we don't have a lot of great black promoters.
Mhm.
And it's sad to say a lot of the black promoters, they don't have your money.
Mhm.
Uh, they had these pageants, and baby, my people get paid when they walk into Supreme.
Uh-huh.
They're paid as soon as they walk in. I don't wait till the end of the night because envelopes I fill months before the pageant.
I love that.
I don't
I love
depend on door and ticket sales to pay people because I can't depend on that. Coco Van Cartier, when I gave her envelope, she said, "Oh, sister, I love you because you're so professional always."
that. Shout
I
out to,
I
Coco.
I I believe in the power of respecting people's time and their craft. I
So,
learned a lot of that from you.
you have to teach people how to treat you. If you don't, they'll treat you any kind of way. And sometimes that means walking away because I'd rather leave with my dignity than to be trotted all over and made to feel like I'm less than when I know that I'm producing more because your prelim, let's talk about it. It was 9 plus girls. You understand? It was
Last
9 plus
year,
girls at your pageant.
9. So last year we I had 14 pay and register, 7
Mhm.
showed up.
Okay.
This year, 14 paid and register, and 9 showed up. And those ladies still want to come back
Yeah.
because the way it, regardless of them, excuse me, my allergies, regardless of them not winning, they wanted to come back because of the way they were treated and
Yeah.
respected.
Yes. I heard that prelim
Treated
was
everybody like
everything.
winners when they came into Supreme.
Mhm. Even last year, I heard how good your prelim was, and you remember I inboxed you, I said, "You're gonna win prelim of the year." You said, "I don't know, brother. I hope I can." And when they called your name, I was so elated for you because I know the hard work you put in for your pageant, so I was so elated for you.
Thank you so
But
much.
but how did we go from you being what year did you win Continental Plus?
18.
18. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. How did we go from you being one of the best queens that were Miss Continental, MCP, to now what happened in between that where the respect goes where I walk past you and don't speak to you? I don't acknowledge you in certain ways. You know, where does that come from? What do you where was that disconnect?
Jim never really has. So it really so like I said, I've been knowing Jim since I was 16, going to his club.
Mhm.
I'm not an ass kisser. I've
Okay,
never been an ass kisser.
right.
And those people like for you to kiss their ass. And that's
Okay.
just never who I've been. And if you're not a part of the ass kissers or the clique, then they pick and choose who they like. And I just never was their choice. And of course, complexion provides protection for a lot of people.
Mm.
Y'all, I'm gonna say that again. Complexion provides protection, and that's on and off stages.
Mm. So do you
Um,
think there's a bit of prejudice within that system or hierarchy or the
I
or
won't
or
even say prejudice. I just think there's a lot of racial insensitivity.
okay, got you.
Prejudice, I don't. Maybe some of them probably are, but I will say at times I feel like Jim says he's a Democrat, but he runs things like he's Donald Trump, like a dictator.
Oh,
He's never open really. Well, let me not say never, because let me not say that. Because a lot of changes that were made at Continental, a lot of people don't know that I was behind a lot of those things. Like Sasha Valentino becoming honorary. I pushed and he did that for me.
okay.
Um, when the pageant moved to one night, he pulled all the administration board in the room and said, because of Cheyenne's advice, we're going to go to one night. She felt like, and she did a survey with people that it would save money. So it was weird because at one point we would be going this direction, and then the next time we would go this direction, and then the
Mhm.
next time it goes this direction. And I would always call a certain someone close to him, and they would just say, "Oh, child, Jim just an old fag, and don't pay him no attention."
Mm.
And it's like, well, no, I just can't not pay him any attention
Right, 'cause
because
he's
I have to
yeah,
work with this man. So
yeah,
that wasn't during my reign. That was afterwards. During my reign, I had no issues with Jim at all.
okay.
Never had an issue. I had one time he called me about something and I put him in his place very respectfully, and I never had an issue with him again.
Okay.
And he was good. He loved how I ran things. I was very administrative savvy. I was very business-like with the promoters, very professional. I had contestants showing up to the prelims. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I tell people this is business. If you look back, I never used the term continental family. I always say continental system because
Yeah,
they don't treat you like family. Well, they don't treat me like family. So
okay.
I don't consider them family.
So
And
do you
even
feel
when
like
I
an
go,
outcast when it comes to them? Do you feel like an
I
outcast?
feel like a stepchild. I don't, if you ever notice, I don't like take the pictures with the formers, and
You
I
really
haven't even
don't?
went back to walk as a former since I gave it up.
Really?
I've never been back as a
Is that
former to
because you
walk.
don't feel like family or you don't feel like it's
Don't
worth it?
feel welcome there. And my dad would say it's not about, you feeling welcome by Jim. It's about your fans. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not getting ready to invest money into shit where I don't feel welcome in a space where I feel uncomfortable.
But
No.
Cheyenne, the night you won, um, you lit a spark inside of Chicago because if I understand the system well, there has not been very many Chicago bred winners.
No.
Um, and you gave hope that night you won. People were so ecstatic and happy because that win wasn't just for you. That win was for Chicago. That win was for the Valentinos. You know, even when I rewind back, when your first year coming to Continental, people still argue to this day that you should have won that night. That was your first time competing, right?
Hmm. 2010,
2010. How many times have you competed altogether?
four. I won my fourth time.
You won your fourth try. Um, I remember people saying Cheyenne should have won. You know, people around like upset and stuff. And so, did you feel in your heart that you had won? And if you did, what made you want to come back if you didn't feel like the placements was right?
Um, I do feel okay. I'm gonna be very transparent. I do feel like I won.
Hmm.
Even going back looking at the DVD, because Tatiana said something today that I'm very strong about. I always wait until I go back and watch myself before I
Yeah.
really, because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very hard on myself anyway.
Okay. Okay.
And so I went back and I watched myself, and I watched every single contestant fully through every category. And I do feel like I won, but I'm a firm believer in things happen when it's supposed to happen, because had I won back then, I would have been a horrible Miss Continental Plus.
Okay. Okay.
Horrible. I didn't have a closet ready to be Miss Continental Plus. Bitch, I was just going to socket to win. Bitch, I would have been a hot ass mess. I would have been telling the girls, kiss it, bitch. I miss Continental Plus. I would have been a fool, bitch. Didn't even know how to do my own makeup back then. I just wanted to show you hoes. I told y'all when I saw the pageant, I was going to win it one day. And I told them, and I'm going to win it my first time. And I
Yeah.
did, but I just wasn't crowned.
Wasn't crowned.
And
Yes,
I
I
love Roxy. And it's crazy
oh,
because
that's who year it was, Roxy. It was her year.
Roxy and people tried to like put us against each other
Mhm.
because of that. And it was like, that don't mean I dislike I live for Roxy, but I
Right.
still whooped on her ass my
The
first year.
phenomenal entertainer. Yeah, uh-huh.
My girl, shit, I love the shit out of Roxy.
So did that light a fire under you to say like, "Oh, I got to go back even harder"?
Oh my hell yes, because
Did you
I
go back the
told
very
you.
next year?
So I did 2010, 2011. I took a break in 12. I went back my girl Tanisha's year for her.
Okay.
2013, and then I took a break. After 2013, I had a long talk with Taji Iman,
Mhm. I love Ty.
and that was when I took my break. And Taji, we were sitting at a kitchen table, and Taji told me, she said, "Let me tell you something. If you want to be on the team, you got to learn how to play the game." And
Mm.
I'm not saying change or compromise who you are as a person. But what I am saying is make adjustments to who you are as a person to fit in on the team. And then once you on the team, then that's when you tell them to kiss your motherfucking ass.
Right. I always tell people that too because they're not gonna change who they are to fit you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what it takes to be on their team, and that's what it is.
And when she told me that, I had as you say, I had an Oprah Winfrey aha moment. And
Mhm.
I said to myself, well, bitch, I'm not ready to play the game. I don't want to be on their team yet. So fuck
Uh-huh.
them. That's exactly what I said. Cause you know, when you irritated with the way of people have treated you and systems have treated you, and you know things like a lot of people don't even know, honey, like oh, like the year, there was one year I ran. I'm not even gonna say which year. There was one year I ran,
Uh-huh.
and Ivy White and I were in the. Oh Lord, that's gonna maybe gonna tell which year then. Shit. Well, hey, it is what it is. Ivy White and I were in the dressing room, and someone came in the dressing room and pulled one of the contestants to the side. The backstage helper told the backstage Billy Fantastic was the worker back then.
Uh-huh.
And he told the person, well, no, they're doing question and answer. You can't talk. And they were like, oh, no, I just want to congratulate wish the contestants luck. Well, they pulled a certain contestant in the corner. And you know me back then, bitch, I was hot. I was like, oh, no, I'm getting ready to go say something. Ivy White grabbed me. She said, you see it, I see it. And some things are just better left unsaid.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at Ivy and my man, I'm thinking like, bitch, what? You know,
Right.
I'm young and still like,
You got the I don't give a fuck type shit, like,
girl, fuck that. I didn't spend my money. I want to go say something. I see what the fuck going on.
uh-huh.
And let's just say that person mudded question, the first time they've ever mudded question in the history of them running, and they won the pageant. And on that video, I am boohoo crying and crowning because I know what happened there.
Oh,
And I couldn't say nothing. And it's like, you don't want to say nothing because people that you love and care about were involved in the situation. So you
right.
don't want to like throw them under the bus.
Yeah.
But
Who
it's
ended up
like
getting
it happened, you
who ended up
know.
who ended up getting crowned that year?
Chelsea Pearl.
Oh, okay.
And then what was really heartbreaking was before they called her, seeing the formers running up behind her before they even called her name, just like they did Godfrey.
Yeah.
Um, they run behind her and they waiting, and I'm reading their lips, come on, Pearl, come on, Pearl. And as soon as they call, they singing happy birthday to you.
Oh, it's her birthday too that day.
When I say, I was like, oh, that
Wow.
was the moment that I realized the true political side of
Mm.
pageantry.
What do you think about politics and pageants?
Uh, you know, it's unfortunate because politics is in everyday life.
Yes, it is.
Our work life, hell, everywhere we work as
Do you think it's a
politics.
necessary evil?
No. I think that a lot of times we're afraid. I think what happens is a lot of times why pageants pull the politics games because they're afraid to lose, as you say, stockholders and shareholders, audience participants. Because I remember, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go a little deeper when I was on American Idol.
Okay.
And you know, because you work in television.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was on American, so you know how that goes, honey. So when I was on American Idol, I remember the guys walking around on the headsets. You know, they walking through our lines, and I can hear on the headset them saying, "Fine white girls with red hair and gray eyes." So we hear them saying this. So that right there lets me know that's the politics of
That's
what
the
they're
part.
looking for. And that particular year, Carrie Underwood won.
Mm.
Um, I made it to the top 100, but she won, and we knew she was going to win. We saw the politics happening. Um, I get why. I know Coca-Cola was a big sponsor of American Idol, and Coca-Cola, you know, when you put money into something, you have
Have a say so.
some say so and say, hey, baby, there's too many of this demographic being winning and crowning now. We need to see a little bit of something because, okay, let me say this. Someone posted the other day, I guess Continental got rid of their DEI program.
Oh,
And that was hilarious to me. But at the same time, I had to tell my friend, I said, well, you do realize they just had an all black top 5 the night before.
right.
And when Kiki crowned me, bitch, it was 7 black plus queens damn near in a row.
Sure was.
So it you know, it then does it get to a point where you say, are we not ever satisfied enough?
Yeah.
Or
Because
do we need more? I mean, and I'm not saying that, but that's a question I'm asking is because there's so much out there in the world to think about when it comes to that whole political word.
yeah.
You know,
So,
politics play a big game in everything,
and
but
everything.
I want to start my own system. I'm starting my own system, Trent, to where I want to lose that politics thing.
Mhm.
You know, whoever come and wins the pageant. I don't give a shit if you've been Miss US of A, Continental, EOY. If Miss Westland newcomer come and whoop on your ass, guess who gonna win Miss Supreme?
That's it. And I think that's why a lot of newcomers are scared to step up because of the politics that comes with
It
passion.
won't be that over here. And I'm getting a set of judges that are not even involved with the community like that. I'm getting real pageant judges that judge the
Okay.
real girl Miss America pageants that are still in tune with hair, makeup, fashion,
Yeah.
drag, clothing, fits. I'm really vetting people because I want this to be different. I don't want someone that's been putting wigs on your head 15 years judging you.
Yeah. 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 So with you starting your system, are you walking away from Continental period? Will you not show back up for like the so you hadn't been back to do the openings in a while, right? Um,
I go to support it because I love the pageant.
okay, okay.
And, you know, I
Do
don't
you
have to
do
pay
you
to get
think that
in.
do you think he would have a vendetta against you because of the things that's transpiring now that you won't feel welcome
Well, like I said, I never really felt welcome.
to begin with?
I did it because I love the system, but a vendetta, I don't know. You know, we dealing with an 84-year-old gay man that used to do drag himself. So I'm sure Felicia is still stuck in there somewhere.
And I didn't know
Then-
he could twirl batons.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
where the
the
name the
same
baton
thing.
came from. He used to twirl it on roller skates.
See,
And
dang, I
and you
know they
know,
didn't make video recording back then, but I wish I could see
so
it.
I don't know. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't care if he has a vendetta. I don't care. You know, I worked my ass off for investing in a system for someone else's child. You
Mhm,
know, same thing with helping North America. You know,
yeah,
I love Rail to death, but just our visions don't align.
they don't align.
And you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't take my love. Real, I love Real to death. That doesn't take anything away from our personal relationship. It's just on a
Oh, that's real.
business level. I don't align with what he aligns with business wise, and that's okay. That's life.
So is that why you walked away from that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had to, and I know people say the name Supreme. So yes, Supreme did come from when I was Miss North America Supreme because I had one of the best systems I worked for then.
Okay.
And of course, I asked Real if you mind if I use the name Supreme. He didn't own it or anything, but I just still
Just
asked
out
him
of
because
respect.
yeah, out of respect, because that's my friend. And he was like, bitch, child, of course. So, and I love to reign supreme. I love it. So that was inspired by him. The way that my system will be ran is inspired by Jim Flint because he taught me how to run a professionally ran pageant system that
Will you have
runs.
like the same categories as Continental, or would it be somewhere similar?
I'm working that out. I'm actually been reaching out to different competitors, just getting ideas. I want to hear their sides of things they want to see different
Mhm.
and what they would like to see happen. I really want to do this really different and get other people involved and get contestants' point of views, what they would like to see different and what categories. I was struggling back and forth with should I have the plus and just leave it open for all weight sizes, but the problem with that is a lot of times fitting.
Yeah,
Some people aren't going to judge fittings the same, even if you tell a person to.
yeah.
You can brief people all you want to,
But they see
but
what they
looking at well, I can't even say that because I use D'Ebony Sherry as an example.
yeah.
I can judge D'Ebony Sherry equal standing next to Sasha Valentino, bitch. No shade.
But you know why though? Because the Ebony Sherry have a shape with her weight. Like, it's the small waistline, the nice hip. Her body is, she could just walk out for a swimsuit and the kids go bonkers. But every plus girl don't have that type of shape to lay clothes on. So when you get
True.
the little messier shapes, or the people who haven't quite learned how to pad their body right, or the girls who stomach sit on their lap, that's a different. It's harder to judge her against a Sasha Valentino or those type of girls. But you got DM Cheryl walking in with bitch just as fine as any other hoe. You know what I'm saying? So you know, you know.
Yeah,
But
so I talked to a couple plus guys, and they were like, I love the idea, but the only thing is sometimes fitting. And I know plus men have a hard time a lot of times with the fitting of pants being fitted
yeah,
in the
they
center
thighs always
crotch.
beat it up.
Yeah, so I decided, and I know the plus guys probably gonna be irritated. I know I'm about business and I know business. So I don't see a big market for the Mr. Plus
Okay.
right now.
Right now, yeah.
I would like to see the interest build up more before just investing into that right now.
So you've been around pageantry a long time. What is different now and what is needed, you think?
Ooh, transparency.
Mhm.
A lot of people aren't transparent with what their expectations are of themselves to people and their expectations of people to themselves to back to them. Um, Honesty.
Mhm.
I think that it's a lot of greediness going on. Um, I think that people are hosting pageants who are not financially stable to host pageants.
Mm. Talk
Um,
about it.
I think that people, I don't know, and I can't say they're doing it for statuses or anything, but um, you need to have your finances, your house in order first before having any type of extracurricular activities going on, really. And I'm not judging anybody, but that's just common sense.
Yeah.
But that ain't that common these days. Um, those are the main things, and fairness, and most of all, being contestant and patron friendly.
Let me tell you something. Can I say this?
Yes.
Because first night I painted Rachel in the hotel. She came to my room and painted. We went to bed. Second night, she said, "Can you come to the pageant and paint me?" Sure. I went to the side where they're in the alley part with the tents
The
and stuff.
tent.
Right? And the man was like, I said, "You got the badge for that coming in?" I said, "Because I'm gonna have to." I was talking to Rachel. I said, "We're gonna have to switch out." He said, "There's no switching out." I said, "Well, I'm just doing her makeup. I'm not dressing her or anything. There's no switching out." You know, he was so nasty. I was just like, "But what the fuck?" He said, "It's Scott's rules. Scott's rules." Whatever he was saying, right? I'm saying, "But what sense?" Then I caught myself. I said, "Because
Mhm, mhm.
I said, Rachel, if you could, I'll bring a chair out here. I'll paint you on the sidewalk." You know what I'm saying? It was light out, but I was just saying to myself, the way they treat people who spend so much money to come be a part of that weekend, because if it wasn't for the people, wouldn't nobody come. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know Continental is deemed like the best and all of this in the top tier, but at the same time, you can't just treat people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know where nobody at in their journey. Somebody grab their old ass. They can't hardly move because everybody sitting in them goddamn spots like they threaten a motherfucking heart attack, stroke, and a motherfucking diabetic coma.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Ah,
like, watch
bitch. Ah.
yourself. You know?
Baby, look, let me tell you something. I have been knowing those people since I was 16, and those have always been some of the rudest, most
Oh
condescending
my
motherfuckers I have ever
god,
met in my life. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret. It's not me bashing them. That is the truth.
it's the
Most
truth.
of them don't know how to talk to you. Literally, I sent Harrison, the guy that does the staging that was hopping around on the
On the crutch.
crutch.
Uh-huh.
Love Harrison to death. One of my favorite people that's involved. Love
Okay.
Harrison. But Harrison sometimes has a tendency of yelling and screaming at you and pushing you. So I sent him a long message last year, a very long message, and letting him know, look, we are grown ass men.
I'm t-
Do not talk to me like that. Do not yell and scream at me. Do not touch me, moving me out anyway. You talk to me nicely and you ask me to move. We are adults and we are men. We
that's
should be
it.
able to have a conversation peacefully without you yelling and screaming at us like we are children.
That's
He sent me the most beautiful message, long message today, and was thanking me for that message because sometimes he doesn't know that he's yelling and screaming because he's got so much going on and trying to hurry up
yeah,
because Jimmy's in his ear and this person in his ear.
yeah.
Jimmy's like, hurry up, we got to get out of here, you know. And he says, sometimes I'm yelling and it's not meant personal, but Chy'Enne, because of you bringing that to my attention, I want to say thank you because we do need to do better and treat each other more respectfully. And I'm trying to change. And that was because of that message you sent me.
Mhm.
And I just broke down crying because that was, what had just happened with Jim and I
Yeah.
shared with you privately.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just hurt. And I was so grateful that that was all I wanted Jim to see and
That's
say
it,
was,
that's it.
thank you for bringing this to my attention, which you're that way because you're that way with everybody. But when it's people who love you and respect your system, who constantly take these beatings after beatings after beatings, at some point, a person gets fed up.
You can only take so much before
And
you burst.
Serenity issue, that top five thing, it was so people know it was nothing of it was far beyond and
Far
deeper
beyond that. It was
than
deeper than that.
Serenity making the
When I
top five.
read it,
Serenity was just the icing on the cake.
she was just the ice. When I read it, I said, "It's deeper than just
Much
somebody not making
deeper.
the 5." You know what
This
I'm
goes
saying?
back 30 years of bullshit dealing with
And
them.
listen, and made to feel like you don't fucking belong when you taking my franchise fees, if that's a thing. When I'm hosting this stuff for you, I'm doing this for it's for me too, but it's a part of it's an extension of your system. You know what I'm saying? And you consistently, I wish you could tell the story you told me. I don't know if you want to say that, but like that would have
Which
made me
part?
like I say, like you work on yourself, but sometimes people will reach down there and get that old person out and make a bitch go there. You know what I'm saying?
After this weekend, I had to. Andre Brown called me on the phone and he was just saying some stuff to me, and I was dropping Tasha off at the airport, and bitch, I just broke down driving. I was boo-hooing.
Mhm.
And and Andre understands. I said, people don't know Jim was almost like a godfather growing up to me.
Mm.
Um, So people don't know the relationship. I knew him before Antonio anybody did. You know,
Okay.
that man raised me, helped raise me, and to raise me and to train me and to teach me how to be just as great as you in this field,
Mhm.
and to then treat me how you treat me. And I've never, and you know, the whole thing, even I mentioned to him about Sunny Delight. I love Sunny Delight. But I'll
Oh,
never forget when Sunny Delight didn't make the top five. She read the dog shit out of Jim Flint and Continental
mm,
on Facebook. Turned her Facebook black. I guess it was like in protest
of
uh
Continental.
of Continental.
What year was that?
I want to say it was the year she did the all red talent. It was one of those years she didn't make it.
Oh, with the
And
red
she
carpet.
read the shit out of them. I remember
Wow.
when Roxy didn't make the five. She made a whole live and read the shit out of them. But
Mm,
those are the people that he favors. And it's not, like I said, they're my girl. But Sonny gets a Continental forever. And my thing was that was a slap in our face to everybody. Because bitch, technically we're all forever. I
right.
mean, so what and it's no shade, but what did Sonny do so special that made her a forever? She didn't bring in a bunch of new prelims. She brought a bunch of newcomers to the pageant that was recruited. She
Mm,
didn't, I mean, she okay, he said she didn't wear anything twice. I didn't wear anything twice. So what did she do? Bitch, I brought in 14 new prelims, and even after giving up the title, I brought in four more after giving the title. Was still
damn.
bringing business and still bringing business. Then went on to not be one of the best, but became a successful promoter for your business. I
Mm,
remember when they gave Sonny Continental Forever. I was sitting in the mezzanine and Alexis Gabrielle Sheraton was sitting there. And you know Gabby ain't finna get nobody too many compliments. You know Gabby sits there very quiet, honey.
uh-huh.
He gave her Continental. She turned around. She said, "That should have been you." I said, "Huh?" She said, "That should have been you." I said, "You think so?" Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All the work you've done. You were a sickening Miss Continental Plus, bitch. You were sickening. That should have been you.
The
I
fact
said,
that
well,
you
maybe
sound
he'd
just
do
like
it.
her is
So
wild.
then he did it for Khalil, and she turned and looked and she said, "Oh, you'll probably be getting yours at Plus."
And it
So when
never
Plus
happened.
came, and my man, I'm like, oh well, maybe he is gonna give me one because he
Yeah.
always said he compared my reign to Khalil and Erica Andrews. How those were the best. So he always compared me to them. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe he gonna give me Continental forever, shit,
Mhm.
baby. And that was
Listen,
fine because you don't miss what you had. So it was fine, but I just thought, but for Alexis and even Lindsay Page to say it was like Lizzie was like, "Girl, I can't believe he didn't give you that bitch because bitch, you was sickening. You the reason a lot of bitches even wanted to be continental with the whole you two can be continental
yes, it was a whole campaign.
because people said I would never be it. And
Yeah.
when I won, I said if I can be it, you too can be it.
You took it was like a campaign. I enjoyed when you had that campaign going on. So did you feel like as it pertains to Sunny Delight getting the forever continental status, which I guess mean that they have free reign to do whatever they want to. They are the most special Miss Continental, right? Did it make you hold any resentment for her because they hadn't recognized you in the same way when you had in fact did more for the system than she had?
Not resentment towards her, not at all.
Okay.
If
But more so
anything, it was
him.
a certain feeling towards him.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
you can't be mad at her for something he presented her
That's
with.
it. That's it.
That's like people get mad at contestants. They didn't judge themselves. Bitch, get mad at those bitches with those pens at the table. She didn't crown herself forever. And I don't take nothing. Sonny is stunning to me. I
Yeah, she's a
mean,
stunning woman.
you know, I- but a lot of us, honey, behind the scenes were wondering, like, okay, like, and they may not ever say it to her. You know how that
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of people felt like, bitch, what did Miss Sunny do to get forever anything that we didn't do? Or what was different that she did that we didn't do? Or is it just that he just likes her a lot and just wanted to do something special? But when you do shit like that, it's a slap in everybody's face
Mhm.
because basically you're telling us we didn't do shit
Right.
forever. So I guess we ain't forever, but we are forever.
Yeah, because you can't never erase it. You can't never erase the
I don't
history of
know.
what
I
has
don't know
been.
what that meant, but shit, I felt like if it was gonna be a forever for every division, I should have got the other forever, bitch.
Yeah, and did you ever say that to him? Did you ever have that conversation with him?
I
Or
did
you just
just recently when I just shared that with you, because I didn't. And it wasn't that I was ever scared of Jim because anybody will tell you, honey, I will when
oh,
he
baby, you
does
ain't
some
scared of
shit.
nobody.
When
Trust.
he does some shit, I would. But the thing is, I never would speak up to him disrespectfully. I always
Right.
did it in a tactful, respectful way because, like I said, I looked at him as like an elder, a godfather to me. So I didn't have to go in on him. It's like our parents. You have parents or godparents that scold you, that treat you a certain way, and in your mind, you're like, okay, well, they just want me to be the best version of
Mhm.
me, and that's what he did. He really did. But it was like once I started becoming a better version and becoming pretty much just as good as he is when it comes to running this type of event,
Mhm.
it was like it really changed.
Mhm.
And Jim is one of those type of people, honestly, Jim don't like pushovers. If you're a pushover, that's when he really gets on. Jim the type person, you gotta cuss him the fuck out sometimes for him to
Yeah,
respect you.
so he can
And
respect
Flame Monroe will tell you that in a minute.
you.
She told Serenity at the Serenity say she told her at the black party,
Uh-huh.
girl, cuss his ass out, then you'll be getting in for free like me. A- And see, and that's what's funny. I tell Flame all the time because he used to always say, when I didn't win, well, I just don't. He always used to compare me to Flame. Well, I don't know. You and Flame, you never know what you all will do. That's because you never gave us the chance to see what we would do.
Mhm.
You just went off of us being direct, straightforward people. And the unfortunate part, when you're black and direct, you're always deemed as being difficult or hard to work with.
Yeah, and, it's so different in this community because, like, even when we have gripes and stuff, like, if we have gripes about Continental, very rarely do they, adjust and do anything about it, right? Like when D West felt the way about some things and Skip had things to say about that, there was I can imagine, just speaking to you now that no one reached out to him to talk about it or to rectify the situation. It was just like, okay, we'll just move on to somebody else. That type of thing. Just he don't matter to
People
us like that.
people have thought so bad about me in the past, and you know that, and they don't
Mhm.
know, bitch. I've been working behind the scenes for people advocating for them, and they don't even know it. I
Right.
sent D West a screenshot of a message that I sent to Jim about him, and he was gagged. I
Wow.
said, D West, regardless, I take up for the right people when they
Right.
need to be taken up for.
That's
I
it.
don't mind speaking up for people when it's right. That's the problem he has with me because I do speak up
Because you
when
do
they
speak
do
up.
wrong shit.
Yeah.
I reached out to Skip and I told Skip, I said, I think you need to apologize to D West for your comment that you made. And his exact words was absolutely not. I apologized to who I felt was necessary to apologize to.
Oh, wow.
That was his exact response in writing.
Wow.
And I just said, "Oh, okay."
And here
And
go
I
this
didn't ask
man.
I didn't ask who was that person you needed to apologize to.
Right.
And I told D West as well. I said, "Now, D West, you were at work. You should have waited until you after you left your job post to do that. Your timing was a little fucked up.
Okay.
I will admit, you can't be talking about your job, bitch. You ain't
Are
gonna
you
talk
there?
about Delta while you're on the plane, ho. So
Right.
you can't. So I mean, he got it, and I got where he was coming from. I said, so I think both parties had a little bit something there. I reached out to Jim. I sent Jim a nice email. I said, hey Jim, you've been all actually, I'm gonna do one. If I click out of here, will it take me off of the video?
I can take you out the video. What you need
No,
to do?
I don't want to take off the video. I just want to go read it, get a message real quick.
Oh, no, I think it'll still be up.
Because can you see me?
I can still see you.
Okay, because I wanted to read it verbatim.
waiting on her to get the message so she can read it verbatim because she don't want to. She don't want to miss. She don't want to misspeak. We getting it verbatim.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were still there. I thought I lost you.
No, no, no. I'm still here.
Okay. So it just says, "Hey, how are you?"
Wait a minute. It's freezing. Hold on. Go out and come back in. She done froze up, y'all. Hold on. I listen. It's a lot be going on in these systems. Like y'all don't even know the half of it in these systems. And you know, for Cheyenne to come and talk about this and be honest and totally transparent. Like so many people so scared to speak out about things that makes them uncomfortable because they feel like they're gonna, be reprimanded in a way. They think that they're gonna be barred from stuff. But let me tell you something. I've been barred from stuff before. It's totally okay. You'll come back.
Did you get it?
Uh, what you send me?
Could you hear what I read to you?
I didn't. No, no, no. It went out. That's why I told you go out and come back in. So we back to reading the letter. I
But
mean, this is
anyway,
email.
it was basically just me telling him
No, no.
to
Read it
reach
verbatim. I want it verbatim.
to reach out to D West and apologize to him because you've taught us for years, even me as a kid growing up, that everybody deserves a second chance. We
Okay.
need a professional videographer back. I think you need to reach out to D West. He is our family, which I was saying that's the first time I ever used the word family with
Family.
Continental.
Hmm.
I said he's been here 13 years. Bitch, he read that message, and next thing I know, they was a week later, they was posting about Visage.
Wow. Without even trying to rectify, without reaching out. And I hate when people don't even think enough of people that has worked for them and made contributions to them. I hate when people don't think enough of them and say, it's worth the conversation. Let me hear you. I don't have to agree with what you say, Cheyenne, but let me hear you so that I can understand where you're coming from. We and I don't think they understand too. I think they do understand. We're from all different backgrounds, all different type of cultures.
Hmm.
Everybody do stuff different in their cultures and stuff. And we're one of those cultures that have been overlooked and played with, not be able to speak up, afraid that we're gonna be barred from stuff. I always felt like you remember when Ivy didn't win Continental Plus one time, and
Hmm.
and she walked away feeling away, and things were said, and I don't even feel like they ever forgave her for that because there was times that she could have won that pageant. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get why people get angry with people for speaking out against their feelings. Oh, you got to be so professional. So professional for what?
Because they not professional.
Because
Because
if
you better believe they gonna talk their shit about you.
they're gonna talk their shit, then to even you're gonna cheat. You're gonna make it feel right by some people because
Hmm.
like I always say that if enough people repeat the same thing, for some reason everybody believe that it's true. You know what I'm saying? So, I should be able to speak my feelings sometimes. I can have a human moment. And I think
Hmm.
that's what people are so afraid of now is having a human moment because they feel like, oh, you're gonna get barred or you're not gonna never be able to do something. Well, I'd rather be barred than be somewhere that I'm not invited, be somewhere that I don't feel
Absolutely.
welcome, you know,
Absolutely.
because like we give a lot to this and just the community give a lot to Continental. I know you guys are from Chicago, so that's in y'all backyard. That is the pageant that everybody waits to go to is that pageant. But you got people who giving their lives to try to win that pageant. Like I'm so glad you fought for Sasha to be a honorary. And some people say, well, she did, she can't see it. It's not only for it can't be for her right now. It's for her family, her fans, the people who poured into her, the sponsors. It's just like giving Whitney Houston, inducting her into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She can't see it, but now it's etched into history. Now her fans can have another notch under their belt that they can brag on her with.
Absolutely.
So it makes
Absolutely.
all the difference in the world because people give a lot to these systems. They give a lot. I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I've seen it. So
Some people
So,
have died trying to become Sasha, one of them.
oh my God, Sasha Valentino should have been a Miss
And do
Continental.
you think? And do you think they give a shit about that? They don't. They don't care about that.
No, no.
I had to damn near beg him to do the honorary thing, and then he did it as if like it was almost like I did you a favor, and just there. I don't. I just can't. I've never been one to kiss ass,
Mhm.
and I can't. I'm just not that person, and I think when people really find out, because a lot of people probably think I do kiss Jim's ass, but when they
Yeah.
really get to know, they be like, "Oh, bitch, you really no, I don't go to no baton. I never would. I went to the baton when I was a kid. When those rude motherfuckers start acting like they used to act back then, the waiters and waitresses, I stopped going to that boring ass shit too. Um, um, Clyde, who does the tickets, she one of the most rudest fucking lesbians. She's so fucking rude,
No, they don't make you feel welcome. They do not make you feel
at
welcome.
all. She's rude as fuck,
Yeah.
a old miserable ass bitch. And I hope
Ooh.
somebody show her this video. She's a miserable old evil ass bitch who can't stand Jim Flint, but still take her old tired ass up in there doing those tickets every year, miserable in there, and
Yeah.
then taking it out on every fucking body else that calls. Who, baby, you supposed to call people back. And another thing, why are you so fucking anxious still using call-in systems for a pageant to this magnitude? We shouldn't have to wait 2 or 3 days for a fucking callback for tickets. We can talk about a whole lot of shit, but that's his baby, his pageant, and he run that motherfucker how he wants to run it. Like I'm gonna run my shit how I want to
How
run it.
you want to run your shit? But has he always been this way, or as he got older? I know when people get older, like I
It
don't give
just
a
got
fuck,
worse.
settle in. Oh,
He told me the other day, let me tell you something. Here's another thing. People don't know I get on Jim about stuff. We
uh-huh.
were talking at rehearsal, he, Isaiah, and I was telling him, I said, Jim, you realize you've been knowing me since I was 15. This is me again trying to make conversation. Jim,
Yeah.
you've been knowing me for this pageant. This is exactly, I was looking at him. I said, I had my hand on, so I said, Jim, I'm 45, the pageant, 45 years old. You've been knowing me since I was 15. You know you didn't raise me up to be a man now. He said, I've been knowing Isaiah for a long time. I said, I'm not talking about Isaiah. I had Serenity cracking up. I said, I will almost push that bitch. I said,
Please don't push a
I'm
girl. If
not
he
talking
fall and
about, no,
break
I'm just
anything,
playing.
it's over.
But I'm like, I'm not talking about no damn Isaiah. So when he walked up, he made the comment. I asked him, I said, Jim, why were you calling that man Exotica? He was like, well, that's his name. I said, that is not his name. His name is Exotic. He was like,
Exactly.
oh, he turned around and said, well, I'm 84. I can say what I want. I said, you cannot say what you want. That does not give you an excuse to say what you want.
It does not. It does not. And it's getting to a point where like
Yeah.
we can't even understand what GM is saying up there. It sound muffled and it just sound like he's mumbling a lot of words. So people don't know. I saw Najee Delvey. I seen her walk up because she thinking GM calling her name, but it's somebody else. And it's just like, and then as he was called contestant number Godfrey. That's not a number, that's a name. So what do you think about that? Always getting people name wrong, and people complain about this, but they still do it. There's people you can put in place because if I'm spending all of this money, he still called D'Ebony, or whatever he called her.
You know,
Like,
I be on the
what?
fence with the name thing. Okay, so I get it. Us sometimes as with ethnic people, we do have some interesting pronounced names sometimes.
Mhm.
I give that.
Okay.
Okay. He is older. And mind you, I ain't making an excuse for him. I just see every aspect of everything. He is older. And Jim been miscalling people names for fucking years.
Mhm.
He just don't give a fuck. That's the
Yeah.
thing. He
Not
don't give a
one.
fuck. It's not about how do you feel about it. I feel like that's why. Let me say, when I do my host book,
Uh-huh.
for example, that at the pageant they were cracked up. They was on the mic. They said, "Bitch, look at this baby Miss Chy'Enne don't play."
Yeah.
I have every contestant bio typed out, and if it's a name that's challenging, I'll put just hypothetical. I'll put like Mahajane, for example. I'll put her name Mahajane de Mornay, but in the parentheses I'll put Ma M-A hyphen
Mhm,
ha J-A
mhm.
hyphen N-A-Y. Maha to so they can sound it out because
Right.
some people need you to break it down like that for
That's
them.
it. That's it.
But the problem is also they're reading off of forms that those girls have written themselves.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So people have to take that into consideration. People don't have the best penmanship.
That's it. Well, that should
So
be typed out though. They know who coming. Unlike any other system, they know exactly who's coming to their pageant. That should be sent ahead of time so that it could be typed out in big letters for the older people that's reading off this thing. Because they even called Jasmine Smith as she was coming out. People like, huh? What the fuck is, you know,
her legal name,
right, right.
stupid
That-
shit. See what I'm saying? He first off, he needs some you know what? I can't tell people what they need on their shit, so I'm gonna leave that
Mhm.
alone. But all I can talk about is they definitely do need to become more contestant friendly. They
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
contestants like shit. The contestants are treated like shit a lot of times, and they're scared to speak up.
Yes, they
So
are.
many people, you'll be surprised. And Jim knows this, and I've told him this too. I said, Jim, I could damn near make all of them stop coming to your pageant if I wanted to. That's the kind of power I hold with them girls because they
Mhm.
know you full of shit. They
Yeah.
just come because they want to. We come because we want to be continental.
Continental.
It's the name, it's the prestige of being continental. Like Punk News has shared my post. I love Punk News dating them. And
Yeah. Shout out to
that's my
Punk.
baby. I love Craig. And shout out
Raven,
Punk News too. And they
Diamond.
shared my post and Mocha Montrese commented on it, but it's a page that I'm blocked from. She blocked me from a long time ago. We
Oh
cool
wow.
now.
Okay.
So I logged into my other page. So I wanted to see who commented that I couldn't see, bitch.
Mhm.
So it was her. So I made a comment and tagged Punk News. I said, "Can you screenshot this so Mocha can see it?" She just said, "Congratulations, but it's not continental." And I said to her, "Mocha, that's what I love the most. That is not continental. I'm taking the great things that I learned from Continental and applying my professionalism and my knack for knowing how to compete and win a pageant, and adding to that and leaving all the negative stuff behind from
Mhm.
Continental."
Yeah.
I said,
And and is Continental really still Continental? You know, things have changed drastically around the block. You remember back in the day the type of competition that would come to Continental.
I
You
mean,
didn't
in
know.
Mocha, if I'm being honest, somebody in Mocha's place, you would think her not even saying that when you had to run 25 times to win.
Oh my.
And
Not
that's not even a
25.
read to her
Not
because that's the
25.
shit that they send us through. They send the
Yeah.
black girls, we become seat fillers. And I
Yeah.
told Serenity, I said, I support you because you want to be Miss Continental. I'll never tell people not to go because, bitch, go get your seat. Get
Mhm.
your own experience because your experience might not be my experience.
That's it. That's it.
But I told Serenity, don't become a Raquel, a Sasha, or a Sasha Valentino. Don't become a seat filler for
Mhm.
years
Because one
before you
year,
finally win.
because one year they I always say this, Stasha and Raquel sold them tickets out. It was no more tickets left at the box office.
Sasha, Raquel, Sasha, Jasmine,
Stasha,
all
Jasmine,
Alexis,
yeah, sold that
all
place out.
Amelia, all those girls were seat fillers for many years because the black girls have always dominated that pageant.
Yeah, yeah.
Always. We the ones who built the pageant up, you
Mhm.
know, and the respect just wasn't there for the black girls like that. They just didn't see it for the black girls. We always had to work harder. I remember when ran for Continental Plus and Tommy Ross called me and she said a lot of few things to me. And for a long time, I thought maybe I wasn't winning because I thought I had a stigma to me because of the Valentino name because of
Mhm,
Sasha.
mhm.
And Tommy told me, she said, because I was gonna change my name to Cheyenne Craig. She was like, Craig, Craig, Cheyenne Craig. That don't even sound rich.
That didn't know.
Cheyenne
I'm glad
Craig.
you did. Cheyenne Craig.
Mm-mm. She said, What's wrong with Valentino? I said, well, I think I might have a curse against me because, maybe how they felt against Sasha. Well, every Ross in the phone book ain't related.
Mm.
And when she said that, I
Shout
was
out to
like,
Tommy Ross. That's
mm.
that's some good advice.
That was very deep when she said that. And
It
then
was
she went
deep.
on to say something else. She said, you got to understand, we don't get girls that come that's intelligent, got fashion,
Mhm.
and can talk and talented. You got everything. Either
That's
you're
real.
talented with no clothes or
Yes,
clothes and no talented.
yes,
You got
yes.
everything.
You got
So
it
you got to
all.
understand you're gonna have to work harder because guess what? When you talented like you, they expect you to come and act like a clown in front of them.
Mhm.
She gave me such
That's
good
great. That's great
knowledge.
advice. If you ever
And
get a chance to talk to people like Tommy and Naisha and them, they got so much good advice to
oh
tell
my
you.
God, Tommy used to give me, we used to sit on the phone, Coco Van Cardi. They have given
Mm.
me Tommy gave me good advice. And Tommy and I were really close, and some punk went and lied to Tommy. And because I was sick one time and couldn't do one of be in Tommy's talent for her AAG
Okay.
premium. And
Oh,
this punk went and told her that I said I wasn't being her talent because she wasn't paying me. Bitch, that's Tommy Ross. I would have been honored to go and be in her motherfucking talent. Bitch, she ain't have to pay me to be in her talent. And it was
I'm
right here in
saying.
my city,
I
you
came and
know,
did her for that. I did her makeup for that night.
and she believed it and stopped talking to me for a long time. And
Oh,
then later down the line, she told me why. And I was like, why didn't you say something to me?
mhm.
But then she found out later that person was full of shit.
Right.
Keith
You smooth.
Ward, Montana Michael's old crazy ass.
Oh Lord, you don't mind name dropping. I love
Baby, because that's why people don't know. People was reading Jasmine, but let me tell you something. I know what happened behind the scenes with Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jasmine went through a lot. Keith Ward, and Jasmine probably don't tell it. I'm telling it for you, sister.
Okay, tell
Keith
the story.
Ward, tacky ass. Anybody that knows him, he goes by Montana Michaels. I had him banned from Continental as a promoter during my year because he fucked over Armani Nicole Davenport and Jade was it Jay Summers, Jay whatever, Jay something, one of my girls that
What did
ran
he
for the
do
past.
to them? He didn't show up in a certain way?
Montana has this thing where he likes to volunteer himself to help you and do this and do that and do that. But then he disappears and don't come through.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what and when Jasmine first did Continental in 1998, Keith was her promoter. Jasmine was staying in a hotel that was a rooted hotel and got put out the hotel. People don't know Jasmine has stories that she don't always tell.
Right.
But I know this stuff because I've been around these motherfuckers since I was 11, 12 years old. And I've been behind the scenes for a long time knowing shit that goes on. And she got put out. That was the first time Keith got her together. In 2005, when Dominique won, when I worked with Jasmine, the last time she ever made the top five. So y'all, I've
Okay.
been creating top fivers for a long time.
Talk about
Jasmine
it.
worked, and it caused the rift because Sasha was running. That was my mama. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
I was helping Sasha, Jasmine get ready, and Keith was supposed to do some stuff then, pay for a gown, didn't pay for it. Finesse end up paying for the dress, and Jasmine won evening gown that year in that black fabric gown that she wore.
Oh, yeah. Martin
That
Elliott
fabric
made
was
that, right?
$9.99 a yard at Joanne Fabric. It was black matte jersey. We
I remember that gown. That's when she wore all the bronzer on her face and stuff, and everybody went crazy, yeah.
we took her to Joanne, and Martin Elliott made her another dress because Keith had never paid for the original one. So let's speed up exactly 10 years later. Vanessa and Jasmine were at my house maybe like a month ago, and her phone rang and Keith called. I said, girl, you still fucking with Miss Keith? She was like, Jasmine, well, everybody deserves a chance. And
Yeah.
I said, Jasmine, Keith done got you together 3 or 4 times, bitch. Ain't that many more chances? I said, okay, girl, take your chances. So I'm hearing him on the phone. Oh, yeah, Jasmine. You know how he talk, child. I'm going to go get the fabric and take it over to Miguel's house and So when they left my house, I called Finesse. I said, bitch, let me tell you something. I know I got a contestant in the pageant, but Jasmine is my girlfriend. That's my longtime friend. I said, do not depend on Keith because she's not going to have her shit. I don't know why the Lord is leading me to tell you that. Don't depend
Wow.
on Keith. So we're going to speed up. The guy that made Serenity's fans for talent, Luis Miguel, was the
Uh-huh.
one making Jasmine's gown. I go to
Okay.
pick up Serenity's fans from his house. He comes out, he said, did Miss Jasmine tell you about Keith? I said, I knew it when he said it. I said, what happened? Oh, well, honey, she called me yesterday and she wanted to see the gown because Keith had called her and told her he had just left the house and the gown was so beautiful and breathtaking. And I had to tell Miss Jasmine, honey, Keith never brought the fabric or the deposit.
What?
So he said, Jasmine said, but he just said he was there. She said, honey, I never got, Keith said he was coming a week ago and never came. So at this point, it's 3.5 weeks before the pageant, and he told Jasmine he couldn't do the gown. So that was part of the reason, and that hurt me so
I
bad
am
when he told me that.
speechless. I'm
That
speechless.
that did something. I got on my phone and I called Finesse. I said, "Didn't I motherfucking tell you don't trust him? I told y'all that. So
Yeah.
what is she gonna do now?" So they went to Martin. Martin sketched out a gown, made a gown, and I saw the gown because Terry Demore had the pictures.
Uh-huh.
Showed me and Tasha at the restaurant. Martin made the gown exactly like the sketch. What they say when Jasmine got to the house, Jasmine told him that wasn't the gown she wanted. And Martin was like, well, this is the sketch.
And I
And
heard
she
Martin
pulled
can make
out,
a gown just looking at a they say he can look at a picture and make the gown.
he was the JD Martin before JD
Yes,
Martin.
he was. Yes, he
He
does.
did Chanel
Yes, he
Nicole. I
was.
mean Chanel Nicole. Chanel Dupree's gown, that gold beaded. That was Mark
Ooh,
Elliott made that. He
wow.
made Tandy Andrews' gown when she won Continental. All of Sasha's gowns were Mark
Yeah,
Elliott. You
yeah.
know, a lot of my stuff, my swimsuit when I won, he's phenomenal. Flames clothes, everything you see Victoria in, Martin Elliott.
Martin. I love how she said
And
Mrs. Martin.
he makes fabulous shit.
Yeah.
And I saw the dress. So when it came to that, I don't know from that point what happened. And it's like everything I guess went downhill. So it started off and I felt bad for Jasmine and I hated that our community was just tearing her down so bad.
Oh
It
my.
reminded me when Sasha was going through what she was going through.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like they have no respect for people that goes through stuff. They have no respect for our legends. And no other community do they legends this way. No other community.
No other.
No other community. And we just cannot wait to tell you. I said I was inside after her talent. I can see her breaking down, and I should start waving to the people. Bye, this is it. I want it was you could just see it, right? And so I forgot who I said, I gotta go check on Jasmine. And I went on the side of the building and I said, "Come here." She was just coming out. I said, "Come here, give me a hug." And I made her hug me so tight she wanted to let go. I said, "No, hug me as tight as you can." And I just started telling her things, because this still Jasmine Bonet at the end of the day. You know, she's a girl that should have been on Miss Continental. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And sometimes some dreams won't always realize, and that's
Mhm.
okay. We
Mhm.
can walk away knowing that we put out great things into the world, and people just letting her have it. I'm just like, man, what the fuck?
And I
And then
think And I think too, Trent, not to cut you off, I think when she was, it was funny, and not funny in a funny type of way. It reminded me also, I was sitting with Chevelle them and Coco them when the last time that Fantasia did Continental, and then they crowned her the
oh
honorary the
yeah,
next night. When she finished her talent, she just was on stage and she just stayed there for a while.
hmm
She didn't leave. And I remember turning to them and it was like I had a aha moment. And something emotionally hit me and I'm getting emotional thinking about it. I said, we and because I've been victim of that before. I mean, not
hmm
victim, I've been the person to do that, victimize people with that before. And I said, we are so often to read people about, girl, why she's still coming. But it just really hit me. Maybe that's all these people have to live for, to look for. This
Mm,
is her, and I'm tough, but I'm really sensitive.
you're very
I know what Sasha went through. You know how sensitive I am.
yeah.
I, I know what Sasha went through, and I can see what Jasmine's going through. And I that moment when Fantasia was down there, I was like, this if she leaves this, who's to say she may go and die? This what gives her excitement to
Yes,
live every
yes,
year,
yes.
to look forward to something. So we gotta sometimes stop
It's like
taking that
gasoline.
away from people.
Mhm.
And I think what Jasmine was looking for was for people to, was for people to see it was her last go round, but to show her the love and receive her
Mm.
and stand up and give her the applause and
Yeah,
the love that she deserved.
job well done. She's
That's what
60.
she was.
She's 60. How many people in this community see 60? You know? And I was telling people, I said, y'all doing it just like we did Whitney Houston. When Whitney Houston brought that last album out and she started touring, she was in no shape or to go out on tour because everybody was going to be looking for the Whitney Houston that song "Oh I Want to Dance with Somebody," and that Whitney Houston was long gone. But
Mhm.
but what she put forward now, people can appreciate it because they're still comparing what you did years ago. And I think a lot of times with our legends, we get older. We get older. We don't move like we used to. We don't talk like we used to. We don't
We don't
think like
look.
we used to. We don't look like we used to. And I know the world is obsessed with youth. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start, and especially in the Black community, we just got to start appreciating. No, she wasn't at her best. She was nowhere near it, but that's okay. That's her cross to bear. She came. I didn't think 4 months was enough. When I saw her get crowned at prelim, I said, unless she got an extensive amount of money, and support,
And
this can't work.
Finesse took a lot of slack for that.
Hmm.
And one thing that so what ha- he took a lot of slack for that. And one thing I want people to do is not blame promoters for everything,
Right, right.
because you can give a person $1 million.
Yeah,
That don't mean they're going to put $1 million worth of shit or product on the stage.
that's
People
it.
got, let's be real. How many times have we won prize packages at pageants? We didn't go put that shit on no pageant stuff. We paid our bills.
That's it.
We paid a car note, a rent. But by the time the pageant came, we made sure we looked like we spent the money on what
That's
it was supposed to be spent. Some people don't do that.
yeah.
And I do know that Finesse did for her.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
He did
she
for
even
her.
told me. She said he was a great promoter. She said he did everything he promised.
Yeah, he did for her. And he
Mhm.
went above that.
Yeah,
He doesn't have the finances like I might do to do what I do, but he does more than he says he's going to do. And I have to give him credit for that.
shout out to
You
him.
know, I have to give him credit for that. He's still learning. He came to the pageant. I introduced him to Continental years after I had been,
Mhm.
but I think he came like in his 22, 24. I was like 16. So it had been a few years of me going. But he's still learning, about being a promoter. Me and Finesse had a prelim back when Alexis won US of A. We became
Oh,
promoters.
that was in
But
2002 or something, right?
yeah, I was a promoter back then with Gay US of A when Gabby won. So
Oh,
I've been
wow.
doing this for a minute. It's just I want my I never really wanted to be go and do pageants like that. Bitch, I wanted to go on Broadway. Drag became my Broadway. And then once I learned about Continental, I went I went funny. I went over Martin Elliott House just to piggyback on Martin. I went over Martin Elliott House because I was getting ready. Jim Flint used to have a Miss Newcomer pageant.
Mhm.
And I was getting ready for the only newcomer pageant they ever had. I was getting ready for the pageant, and I went over Martin House, and it was this black velvet gown hanging up with these rhinestone cutouts of like the playing cards, like the Ace of Spades and stuff. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, "Oh, who dresses that?" And he was like, "Victoria LePage, Miss Continental Plus." And I was like, "What's Miss Continental Plus?" And he was like, "Oh, it's like Continental, but for the fat bitches."
Oh,
And so I was like, "Wait a minute. Is that the one I went to and the lady Paris France won?" And he was like, yeah. I was like, bitch, they got one for fat girls. And this is when I found out, because remember I said I was gonna win Miss Continental.
Uh-huh.
I ain't never know nothing about the plus. I ain't give a fuck about the fat bitch. I was gonna battle with the skinny hoes because I was
You didn't know
smaller
nothing was
then.
going on Easter weekend.
Right. So he was like, no, girl, they pageant this weekend. That's her give up dress for her opening. I was like, bitch, they got one for plus size girls. Oh my God. I got tickets, and that's the year she crowned Dina Cass. And that was my first time ever going to Continental Plus. And I said, oh, bitch, I'm definitely winning this one day.
Yeah.
And here I am years later,
You did
won it.
that. You won Miss Duval, Miss Westland Empress, Miss North America Supreme. And listen, it don't take you no whole bunch of times to do no pageant, baby. You gonna get that motherfucker.
I told somebody the other day, it was so funny. I was talking to my friend Ladarius. I was like, yeah, because I understand how I feel. And I texted him back. I was like, well, bitch, I'm lying. I don't know how I feel because I won everything on the first time. So, bitch, I can't say I know how that feels. And look, like Victoria LePage say, it ain't 15 hoes across this country can say they beat me.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And it's
So,
not, I mean, that's no shade. It ain't it and low key, it ain't even 5 that can say they have, because I've never, well, maybe at US of L R's that one year when I placed like 7. So I
okay.
give them 6 hoes, they graces.
Okay.
It's 6 that can say they whooped on me. So y'all gonna take that. I'm gonna take that one.
Gonna take that. So,
Yeah.
what have you learned after going through all of this, becoming who you want to become, um, all the way from the pageant attendee to the person that got in the pageants that successfully won some of the biggest pageants in the country. Um, what have you learned about yourself to get you to this point? What are the biggest lessons?
Mm. To not always be concerned about being accepted and liked by people. Um, because you never will be. No matter how good you are or how successful you are, you're never going to please everybody. And for a long time, as you know, I always want to please people, and you used to read the shit out of me about that. And because
'Cause
I
you
felt
can't
like
please the
that's what,
masses.
huh?
'Cause you can't please the masses. They'll have you flipping over backwards. That's not enough. Well, flip over forward. That's not enough. It's just you can't never do enough for people.
You can never do enough. I learned that, like I told you, also, every action doesn't need reactions.
Mhm.
I think about what my biological mother used to say: some things are better left unsaid and done. That's a very true statement. I learned growing up not letting the left hand know what the right hand is doing. Everybody don't
Oh,
need to know what you got going on,
that's a
because
lesson my
some people
grandmother
will
told me.
ruin what you got going on before you get it started.
Yes. Yes.
I've learned everyone that say they support you don't. In this community, it's unfortunate. You would think that the people that taught you how to be successful, I'll take a teacher, for example. A teacher's job is to teach their students to be just as great or greater than them,
That's it.
because that means their job was done. But unfortunately, in our community, when they teach you to be just as great as them and you get to that point, then you're the competition, or you're disliked, or you're not liked anymore because you're their equal now.
Mhm.
So I had to learn that really fast, that they didn't look at me anymore as these call me Miss Craig. I was now their equal, their competitor.
Uh-huh.
So I learned a big lesson when I won Continental Plus, that baby, everybody wasn't really down for me to win that patch.
They was not happy. They didn't want you to be the first.
They didn't want me to be the first because I was the loudmouth sissy back then who used to tell all their asses, Christian, all them, bitch, I'm gonna beat y'all in the pageant. Yeah, that was me back then. I'm winning that pageant my first time. And Christian them had already been running for the pageant. And
Mhm.
so in their mind, they thinking to themselves like, bitch, who are you, little sissy, telling us you finna beat us in the pageant? But bitch, I could sing my motherfucking ass off. So I had a talent, and see, that's not our Christian actually could sing. So, but
Um,
see, I knew I had a talent that was gonna blow it. And I've always been competitive because I ran track. A lot of people don't know that. So I
Okay.
ran track growing up. So I've always been in theater, everything like American Idol, Star Search. I love competition. I
Mhm.
don't like reigning. I like winning the pageant, and
Mm.
I reign if I have to, but I don't like reigning. I like going to whoop on some hoes' ass, win the prize, and be done with it. It's
No,
like a horse race to me.
no, I get that. When I did a pageant, well, this has been, oh shit, 25 some years ago, whatever, 20 years ago, 22 years ago. I remember winning and I was just like, man, I don't want to perform. I was like, oh, I don't want to do no performance. I did not like performing. I only like competing. So I get what you mean when you say that. And now it's different because the pressure when I was competing wasn't hard at all. Now the pressure is so big now because people
Hmm.
expect the impossible out of you. They want you to never wear the same thing. Like people got mad at Raquel for a ponytail, like as if it wasn't beautiful, as if it wasn't neat. You get to reign how you want to reign. But I think the pressure now is so hard on the girls that sometimes they probably just rather not.
It is, and I think a lot of times, I think sometimes, and let's just be honest, I think sometimes things like that are brought upon themselves as well.
Yeah.
Because Raquel has been very opinionated about how people look during their reigns as well. I
Okay.
mean, because she said something to me at my prelim at Angel City. I'll never forget in the dressing room. She said, and I love Raquel, that's my girl, but it did happen.
Uh-huh.
She was like, is this your first time being a national title holder? I was like, no, but to this magnitude, yes. She was like, oh, okay. She said, well, when you're reigning nationally, you should go to registration dressed up. And I turned to her and I'm gonna say exactly what I said. I said, Raquel, let me explain something to you. Over here, that ain't required. They do that at them nigga pageants. That ain't what they require over here. I
So do
said,
you feel
y'all
like black
required to
pageants are
be
harder
done to
on
the
girls?
10. That's exactly what I said. I'm just being candid. I
Yeah.
said, y'all required to be done to the tens. Over here, Jim Flint just happy that we even show up to the registration.
Oh, that's
I said,
different.
but what y'all should do is worry about the work and the prelims that I'm bringing in. I said, but let me ask you something, Raquel. When you did that talent at Continental, you did it because that was the year she changed her talent and did that solo talent, the final night.
Oh,
When they
yeah.
were saying she should have, that's what caused her the pageant. I
Uh-huh.
said, when
That
you
was
changed
Sasha's
your
year, I think.
uh-huh. I said, when you changed your talent at Continental, why did you change it? Because Raquel wanted to do it, right? She said, yes. I said, and that's exactly why I dress comfortable at registration. I'm a boy. I'm not a girl. So I'm not going to dress up at registration. And I ain't wearing no suit because it ain't required. She looked at me. She said, well, your daddy told me that's how you were. I said, what did he tell you how I was? That I'm very opinionated and I speak my mind? He was right. I am, and I walked off. So
Right.
I think we tend to forget. I remember when Chastity was reigning, there was little stuff with them and conflicts about how she was looking during her reign. So I think sometimes people have to understand we are in a community where everybody is opinionated.
Yeah.
Everybody. But you scold this person for being opinionated. But Raquel's opinionated, Stasha, me, you, Chevette,
Yeah.
all of us are
All of us.
opinionated,
All
honestly.
of us. That's so true. And that's why I don't get mad when people have something to say about me. And I always tell people I can't get angry how people feel because I get on a platform every Wednesday, now Thursday, and um, I get to say what I want to say about people. And so that gives them the right to say what they want to say about me as well.
Absolutely.
And I have to take that
Absolutely.
in stride with everything else. And me and Trinity Black used to get into it a lot. And it was because sometimes I would say
Me
things
too.
and he didn't like it. And I'll be like, I said, but you do the same thing. So why are you mad at me for exercising the same rights that you exercise? And I think she understood it as we went on. But when you put yourself out there to be judged on anything, it can come back to you any kind of way it want to come.
Absolutely.
What you
Absolutely.
what you do with it is that's on you, you
Mhm.
know? Um, yeah, so wow, you
Absolutely.
you got a lot of stories, child. We could talk forever because,
Bitch,
baby,
I'm telling you, if
you
I
get
wrote a
around.
tell-all book, my book would be because, like I told you, I've been involved with this shit since I was 11 years old. So I know a lot of
Mhm.
shit. And I know a lot of shit. I know the shit that has gone on behind the scenes, and where it was, people was cheated, and
Oh, baby.
different things was slipped and said that shouldn't have been said that I caught on to. You know, it happens in all pageant systems, and I'm not just saying it's
All
one.
of
It
them.
happens in all of them.
All of
Well,
them.
no, I
Nobody's
can't say
exempt.
all. That's not true. It happens in a lot of them. Let me not say all, because all pageant systems are not like that. So I apologize. That was the wrong verbiage. It happens
Mhm.
in a lot of them. And that's why I'm trying to change that narrative. Even with my Supreme prelim, it runs like a national pageant. And I treat people, everybody talked about, oh my God, the staff was so nice and accommodating. They were asking the contestants, you all want bottles of water? You
Yeah.
need anything? You know, they had food there for them. I took care of them.
Right.
But we don't get that, unfortunately. But back to what you were saying, yeah, people do bring a lot of that stuff. We are in the limelight, and we are the celebrities of our community, so to
Yes.
speak. So I
Absolutely.
mean, you leave yourself out there. I got what Terry was saying, but like I told Terry, it was your delivery of what you were saying.
Mhm.
I got it. It's Raquel Lord, so you expected a little more from Raquel. But like I had to explain to people, Raquel has always been Raquel with the beautiful hair.
Yeah.
Raquel has never walked around with big ass helmets on her head.
Never done that.
Even when
Never.
she competes in evening gown, her hair is beautiful and soft. She's never been that girl. So what were you expecting differently?
Yeah.
Pick your
Yeah, that's
battles.
and, and Continental don't require everything these other pageants
They don't
require
give a shit
either.
about that, child. Jim just
No.
glad that your ass show up.
Yeah, and y'all get to have a good time wherever y'all go,
Yes.
I thought she had a phenomenal reign, but, people have their opinions about things. But,
But
okay,
what do we consider phenomenal rain?
all I need you to do, like most systems, I really don't have a say of what people can do, but just show up, look good, smell good, entertain us, treat people well. That's it. I know nowadays it's all about who can drop the most sickening promos. That doesn't do anything. That just means somebody edit your picture well. Half the time people don't even look like those pictures anyway. So, like I don't care about I don't care about the promo raining. Just like when you out, like when the queen interacts with people and she makes them feel, just as special as she feels, or he, if he's raining,
Mhm,
if it's a guy raining, just walk around because people come to support y'all. And without these
mhm,
sponsors, supporters, and audience members, this shit can't go on. You know what I'm saying? Who's doing a
mhm,
pageant in an empty room feeling amazing?
mhm,
Like
mhm.
that's all the rain is for me. Is
Okay.
like not treating people nasty, being resourceful, calling and checking on the contestants, making sure they have what they need. If I can point you in a direction, let me do that. I like when people learn how to be an administrator too within anything because it shows the system that hey, this is somebody we can keep around for a while because jobs come out of rain and sometimes now you got people MCing now, i.e.
Tiffany.
Tiffany Hunter MCs now because she did a phenomenal job at Miss Continental. I thought she'll be a Miss Continental forever too. But we can go into a lot of that. But I know you said that you emailed Jim and nothing has returned. So if Jim could see this right now, and I know that you're walking away from the system, what would you talk to me like I was Jim? What would you say?
Mm. That at some point, regardless of your age, you have to start respecting people as human beings. You need to start respecting people for the respect that they show you, the time, dedication, and loyalty that they give you. You know, I probably can't say everything I want to say because I really want to go a lot deeper into what
Mhm.
I want to say. Because, like I said, there's a long history
Um,
there. But I just need Jim. I need Jim to respect me. I don't need your approval. I just want your respect and you to show some appreciation for what I have provided to you in your system. Because there's people in my inbox now saying they don't know what to do now because they only wanted to come to Continental because of me. And I
right.
don't think he realizes that impact that I have on our community, regardless of how people might feel about me.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
respect me when it comes to this right
Yeah.
here, because they
Yeah.
know I know my shit. That's what I would say to him. And what I would also say to him is, Jim, if you were smart, you would learn to take the people that learned from you, that you trained to do this. You should take us under your wing so that when you pass along, we can take over the system to continue your legacy that you started and that you taught us how to do. But unfortunately, that's not what he's doing, because I feel like when you die, the system is going to die.
Mm,
That's what I would say to him,
wow.
along with a lot of other
A
stuff that I
lot of
won't
other
say
deep
here.
stuff that you get
But
right.
those are the main things. Like when it comes to that particular thing, start showing people respect. Respect your promoters. Give it. I have my co-promoter, Alejandro. He spent money on 12 dancers tickets who, and his contestant didn't even make it. They wouldn't even give his money back or half of it. Alejandro has
Yeah.
been a promoter for 20 years, have spent thousands. He was Sasha's promoter, Chantel's promoter when she won. He has spent thousands. Hell, even with Supreme, we spent thousands together. And
Wow.
you couldn't even give him half of his money back.
Right. Because the contestant didn't make it.
Like, I mean, and I get his business. I
I,
get it.
I, I get that too.
The people
But
that's gonna say that,
just
I
out
get
of deep
that.
respect though. Just out of deep respect.
There is a respect and a loyalty though that comes with that. I had girls, I'll name her. Tia Mirage Hall was supposed to do my prelim last year, and she hurt herself at rehearsals with Alberto. She
Mhm.
had to not do my prelim last year. Four of the girls that was coming, because they couldn't make it, I didn't have to do that. I told them, don't worry about it. You come this year, I'll waive your entry fee because you
Mhm.
did pay it last year and you couldn't make it. So I'll give you that.
Okay.
They were so grateful just for that small little gesture made such a big difference to them. Wow, I didn't have to do that. I
Right.
could have made them pay again. But
Right.
because you gave me money and you couldn't make it before and I didn't give you a refund, well, I'm gonna put your money to use this year if you want to come.
Right.
You
I
know,
acknowledge
stuff
it.
like that. I paid for, I don't put this on my contracts. I mean, on my flyers. When you win my pageant, I pay for your entire final night talent, up to 8 dancers, and
Wow.
I pay for their tickets to get in the pageant.
That's
Michael's talent
official.
was $3,000 plus $75 a night for tickets. Serenity's talent was $2,600 plus $85 for each dancer at times 8.
Wow.
I spent a lot of money,
A lot of
and
money.
I'm not the only one. Trust me, I'm not the only one. But what I'm saying is the way that you respect those promoters, show this young black promoter the same respect like you show Allison Thomas, Jim DeMondo,
Yeah.
Steve Senna, the same people who win the fucking best prelims every year.
Yeah.
That's because they're your friends. I remember when I won best prelim last year, Skip slipped and said some shit that let me know it'd be some bullshit with that too.
Uh-huh.
Um, he said, "Yeah, I knew you were gonna win best prelim because I voted for you."
Mm.
I said, "Voted for me? That's, what you got to do with anything? That's the queen's job."
Yeah, I thought so too.
Oh, so this is how this go. Okay, because when I won, you supposed to give a name, but they asked me for 3 prelims. And I even asked Jim because I picked Tennessee, Dream Girl, and my Texas prelim I had brought on, and Gulf States.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, well, Jim, since you're only giving 1, can I pay for the other awards and we give out 3? Well, if I let you do it, I have to let other promoters do it. Okay, shit. That's on them if they want to do it.
Right.
Because I wanted all 3 of them because I felt like all 3 of them did exceptional.
Right.
So I went with 1. He chose it. But when I won Best Prelim last year, we were sitting at the table and I was messing with him. I was like, "Ooh, let me get ready and go up here in case you get ready to call me for Best Prelim, Jim." And he was like, "You almost got it." I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "You were very close." I sat there, Trent, and the tears had welled up in my, I was so hurt by that. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
"What?" So when he went up there, I'm sitting there in the seat like this, not mad. I'm just sitting there so disappointed, like, I can't
Yeah.
believe this shit. And
Yeah.
then he calls my name. So I go up there and I whispers in his ear. I say, "You so full of shit." That's what I whispered in his ear. I said, "You so full of shit." And so he started laughing and I won the award.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it be those moments where you think things are gonna be okay, and then he go
Yeah.
back to being
He was he resort back to his same old self.
with Jimmy.
Oh,
Child, enough was enough. When that happened this weekend, and like I told him in an email, I
mhm.
said, you made sure you kept Serenity out of that top 5. I know what you all do. And
Yeah.
and don't tread lightly with me, Jim, because I have proof of what the shit you all do behind the scenes. So
Mm,
and you know that because I shared that with you. I
yeah,
said tread lightly. I said because you kept her out because you knew she was going to become an obstacle for
yeah,
what y'all had going on. And
yeah.
but the bad part about that is, Jim, you didn't have to cheat my contestant because Godfrey was winning anyways.
Right.
You didn't have to take that moment away from
That
her.
top 5 moment is a huge moment for c
Yes.
contestants and
You
competitors.
didn't have to take
That's
that.
a
Godfrey was
huge
winning the pageant.
moment. Yeah.
I
Yes.
didn't say Serenity should have won. I never said that. But she damn sure was up there in the top 3 with y'all
Yes, he
asses,
was.
though.
Definitely top 3 both nights.
You're
Definitely
not
top
going to
3.
tell me that because if we're going off of the pageant winning off of consistency,
Yeah.
she damn sure was in the top 3 compared
Mhm.
to a fat neck ass newcomer and Prozac.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I said it.
Baby, you don't play no games. Do you hear me?
Because I was not because I was like, really? I mean, even I love Lila, but she was even a little questionable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm just saying, love Lila to death, best she's ever been, looked absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
That smoked eye on her first night was
Oh, them girls paint.
every
I live for that.
everything to me.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like she was gown, swimsuit. Her stuff wasn't as immaculate as
And
Serenity's
and and
was.
and it makes you wonder sometimes because even with the top 12, Serenity was the only black girl. I was surprised people like a former Miss Continental Plus, Rachel, she didn't even make it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "What's going on? Like, we just gonna leave everybody out?" Oh, you don't agree?
I thought Rachel was good. Her gown was breathtaking, as
Yes, it
always.
was. Yes, it was.
I could see Rachel's pads on the left side of her leg for swimsuit. It was really
Oh,
thick
okay.
and bulky,
I couldn't
and
see
I'm
her.
sure they saw it. And Rachel was late for registration.
Oh, wow. They
Yes,
docked for that?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
my God.
And my
Mhm.
thing is, sister, and I told her that, sister, you a former, you know better. You already think they don't like you, bitch. You supposed to be here before anybody was
Oh,
here.
baby, I would've been sitting there with my legs crossed waiting on Gia and them to get there.
I pulled
I
up
was smoking those
at 12:11. Rachel was just getting out of her Uber,
Uber.
walking in, and the rehearsal started at 12 o'clock.
Wow.
Tasha texted me and was like, "Girl, where's Rachel? They didn't call her name 2 times, and Jim said we moving on."
Oh,
I said, "I
wow.
don't." I said she walking in now, actually.
Wow. 'Cause they
So
should
it
be
be those things that
be
people
little things.
read about, and they be like, "Well, why did Rachel? Did Rachel should?" Well, it's things that y'all don't know that goes on behind the
Mm,
scenes,
mm.
and then we don't know what Rachel is a chatter, but maybe by Rachel being late, that could have thrown her interview off.
That's true, that's
She
true.
could have been in her head. We know Rachel, my sister, when Rachel is on,
Baby, she can
Rachel
chat.
is on.
She can chat.
Rachel is on when she on. Bitch,
Yes, she
Rachel
is.
is a competitor. But
Yes, she
I
is.
could see her in her head because Jim, being Jim, probably really antagonizing the situation when he should have just I understand time is time. I get it. Because
Yeah,
in the airline, bitch, late is late.
right.
You can't fuck up our
Yeah.
flight distribution time. I
I
get
had a
that.
boss tell me one time, "If you a minute late or 10 minutes late, you late."
You
Mm,
late.
I was I
And
get
I
it.
get it. I
I get
get
it.
it. I get it. And
Yeah.
I know that could have thrown her off, her
Yeah.
game off.
Mhm. It
Um,
can. It has some
and so
potential
we
to.
don't know how interview went because interview helps carry you over into the top
Top
12.
12.
You
Mhm.
know, people talked about Najee might not making it. It was her first year at Continental. See, I send my people through interview and question and answer training for that reason,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that they're prepared for that. It was Serenity's first time, and Serenity chats like a motherfucker.
I
But
could
I
believe it.
needed her to be prepared for what a Continental
Yeah,
chat was going
yeah.
to be
With a
like.
group of people. Yeah, because you don't always do group.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't always.
Absolutely. And a lot of those girls, and I hate to say it, a lot of them white girls, a lot of them are nerdy ass white boys in drag.
Yeah.
They come from America system. Them some
Mhm.
smart bitches that
Very
run for
intelligent. They
America.
well read. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and I'm not taking Najee is lovely, but
She
how do
is
we
lovely.
know
Beautiful.
Najee did well in a group interview?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know that because we don't see that. And we got 23, 22 other hoes in front of her. And a lot of them boy queens, them white boy queens, them be some smart college educated boys that do drag.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw the newcomer was in there like that, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
And no shade. I knew now no shade. I said when she was rehearsing, I told her, I said, oh, that bitch finna be a problem right there.
Mhm.
Cause she was singing her talent. I said, oh,
Yeah.
and her clothes first night were fit impeccably. You might not have liked the style of them.
Yeah, but the fit was there.
Bitch, you couldn't come for that bitch fits.
And that pageant don't judge as hard as black pageants judge. You know, you get like a total
Mhm.
effect look, but like black pageant, we nitpick every little thing. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
different too. Yeah.
Her clothes were impeccable and she had a great live talent. So I knew she was going to be a problem. But when she changed that gown final night and put that ball gown on that was not ball gowning, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, that's definitely probably going to knock her out because gown is the next highest score category.
Mhm.
Prozac, and after I looked at the pictures, Prozac gown actually was it was cute, it was nice.
Okay.
But what we know about Continental, you know, but baby, they say, honey, y'all got all the blacks Saturday night, bitch. Enough is enough.
Listen, that goddamn let me tell you something. That motherfucking whole top 5 was black. They said next night, it won't be not one of y'all up here, baby.
Baby,
Get
you
out of here.
hoes and got enough out of
Yeah,
us this
we done
weekend.
gave y'all enough now. If that ain't enough for y'all, it's y'all problem.
D West,
Hilarious.
this is for you, bitch. And what's the my girl that host? And I love what's
Nikki
her
Adams.
Nikki? I love Nikki Adams.
Yeah, yeah, she don't bother me neither.
But people, I was telling somebody, Nikki Adams is nowhere near racist.
Yeah.
Bitch, Nikki Adams read every ethnic background.
Everybody. But listen, it's that dry humor too. I like dry humor. I get it. I get
I
dry
get
humor.
it too.
Yeah, I get dry humor. Yeah, I like
Carmela
her.
was even worse.
Who was?
Carmela
Oh
Marcella.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She
Shit.
will read the fuck out of you.
You hear me?
So when like I was telling somebody when she made the comment, Nikki, about the Yeto Taco Bell,
Uh-huh.
I said, you have to know Nikki to know where she was coming from with that. She said, "Ooh, I got hungry. It tastes for tacos all of a sudden." Bitch, that was Nikki way of saying, bitch, she wanted to eat them motherfuckers up like tacos. You have to know and read between Nikki's jokes. You have to. She said, "Ooh, yeah, don't get a Taco Bell, honey. I just got a taste for tacos all of a sudden." Yes, they're Hispanic, and it's a reference to tacos. I get it. But she wasn't literally referencing tacos. She was talking about eating them like tacos.
Yeah. But even then, I don't always feel like it's racist when people talk about people's culture and what they eat. That's
Not
what we eat. Like black people get mad when people say something about fried
chicken.
chicken and watermelon. I don't care about that. That's what we like.
That's what we like.
That's
And what
that's
made
our
it
culture.
worse,
And white people don't even have a culture of what they're known for. So when people say anything about us, like that's what we like. I do like fried chicken. I do like watermelon. You can't make me feel bad about that. They make tacos. You
that's
know what
what
I'm
they
saying?
like.
Like, what the fuck?
And that's why None of them were upset about it.
No,
We made a big deal out of it. The
yeah, I
black
hate that too.
people.
Black people, and they just went on and on. It just went on. It just dropped on and on and on. And I'm just like, we got Sophia. Sophia say anything about anything and everybody.
Bitch, let
You
me tell you
know what I'm
something. At Universe last year, and I made a post about it too. At Universe last year, and I don't have a word. The word nigga don't bother me either.
saying? Me
It
neither.
it don't bother me. Cause my
Me neither.
mama, we was niggas left and right growing up, honey. Cause my mother didn't believe cussing kids, so her word was nigga.
Uh-huh.
Um, I remember being at Universe last year, and I don't know if you remember when Sophia was screaming, nigga, 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 like for about 10 minutes. I was like, oh my God, bitch. Really? Now, I didn't have a problem with the word. It was just she kept, because
The
somebody, I guess,
overuse
had
of
said
stuff.
something about her saying, she's like, nigga, nigga, nigga.
Shout out to Sophia. Sophia is crazy. But I just don't have problems. It's you go out like even to a comedy show. If you sit in the front row, they might roast your ass. You know what I'm saying? It may be your outfit or
That
you
shit
know,
be funny to me,
it's
bitch.
funny to me too because my best friend obviously you love some foolishness. I really do love foolishness. I love it with everything in me. Show me some foolishness. That's where I want to go to. But Chy'Enne, I can stay on here and talk to you
Yes,
all
I
day
know we've
long.
been on here almost 3 hours, child.
Yes, child. And I gotta go over here and do this other show. But child, listen, thank you so much for sitting down and talk to me. I love to talk to intelligent people, people who can bounce back off of you. And you do this so well. You speak well. You're so intelligent.
Thank you.
You're not afraid. You've never been afraid of people. You've never been afraid of your thoughts. You have to filter it sometimes, but you just always been that person. You know me, you've talked about things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I
I
had to go
love you
back to
so
what my
much.
mother taught me. It's not what you say, it's how you say
It's
it.
how you say it to make it effective, right? But
Yeah.
I love you so much. Thank you
I
so
love
much
you
for
too,
sitting down
brother.
and talking
Thank
with me.
you.
This has been great, and people are going to love this fucking interview.
Okay,
Thank
bitch,
you
we're gonna
so
have
much.
to have a part two because it's a whole bunch of shit.
Baby, let's do part two. Let's do part two. Yes. Thank
Look,
you so
the
much.
beyond the camera, what is it called?
Beyond the filter.
Beyond the filter, and now we're going behind it. I love you, Trent.
I
Thank you
love you
so
too.
much.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye,
Mhm.
y'all. And
Bye-bye.
remember, stay supreme. Coming
It's
soon.
coming soon, baby. Get ready.
Get ready because the coins and the
The
pad
coins
and
is
the
there. The
the
money is accounted for.
professionalism will be there.
And they will treat you right in the back.
Promise you.
You too can be supreme.
You bitch, you better say that. Let me go ahead and take my shit back from their ass. And if y'all use my shit over there, I'm suing y'all ass. I'm just
Hashtag sued.
hashtag sue them hoes.
Okay. Bye-bye.